all of them would be completely made redundant by the invention of the mobile phone. I can't find my wife. Oh, my child's gone missing. 2 blokes are attempting to break into my post office. Oh, I'll just ring the police, but I don't have a phone. We'll come back to that a little later on. I'm delighted to say, and all those clips you heard there was telling us what a close and weird race it is at the top of the Premier League. More of that tonight when Manchester United take on Wolves at 8 o'clock. Game live here on Talk Sport, of course. To help us look forward to that, I'm joined by a comedian, I presume friend of Charlie's as well, and Manchester United fan Danny McLaughlin. Hello, Danny.
How you doing?
Very good, really Danny. Good. Really good.
Really good to hear your voice, Danny. Let me ask you this. First question, how does it feel to support a title-challenging team?
It's weird because I honestly don't... You can't say that we are yet with this United team. It's a horrible team to watch. I mean, it's one of those where people say, oh, it's great for the neutral, but... Because you never know what you're going to get. Like, I preferred it when it was boring in the olden days when we knew we were going to slap Fulham 4-1.
I bet you did.
But you go into it now, like tonight I'm not confident at all. Like Leicester I was confident and we ended up dropping 2 points. It's just stress. Every week is stress. Like, I'm glad it's at 8 o'clock tonight because it can't ruin my day. Like, the early kickoffs are just a nightmare because you're like, I don't know what Ollie's going to bring here. I don't know whether he's going to ruin me dinner or not.
Has that been the problem, Danny, with it? Is that it feels like he's not had a through line, is it? His narrative hasn't been, this is my team and this is how we play. His narrative has been, we won last time, so we'll try that again. Oh, it didn't work, so we'll try something else. And the team hasn't been the same. He's not been able to find a place for Van der Beek. All these things.
What's baffling about it is, like, he goes from, like, looking like not a genius, but looking like someone who knows what he's doing when he beats Pep and like beats Jose and all these great players with really astute tactical performances, to like struggling to beat Bournemouth. And it's horrible.
Danny doesn't enjoy it. Danny, I've been to football with Danny McLaughlin, Danny Kelly, and he does not enjoy the game whatsoever. I think the last time we went actually was Man United v Wolves at home, wasn't it, Danny? Yeah. And we had those 2 Wolves fans in front of us who snuck in.
So the exact same game, the repeat of tonight's game.
Exactly.
Okay, what happened?
And I think we were saying, because we knew they were Wolves fans in front of us, we were saying the whole game, very championship, aren't they? Very championship, just to try and wind them up. And then Wolves scored a late winner, was it, or an equaliser?
No, Danny? An equaliser.
And they turned around and went, that championship, is it? And walked out.
But we were trying to bait them out all game by saying stuff like, oh, I tell you what, I don't care much for the Midlands. All that area around the M6 toll, I'm not a fan of them, just to see if they turn around.
Yeah, but Wolves have looked good since then. Wolves have looked really good, but they are missing Jimenez, so you've got to think.
It was great to see. Actually, it was great to see Raul up and about and at the ground at the weekend. Because that when he had that injury, you could have thought, wow, who knows how bad that is? But he looks to be functioning as a human being very well. So that was really good to see. I mean, Danny, look, none of us are football scientists here, and I don't think such a thing really should exist. It's an art rather than a science. But Manchester United's inconsistency, I think, is best summed up by the fact that they've scored 30 goals this season, which is over 2 a game, which normally should be enough to really have you challenging in the Premier League. But they've got the worst defence in the top half of the table. He's got to sort that out, hasn't he?
Yeah, their defence is horrible. That's the thing. What it is, I think they're not bad players. I just think that, like, Lindelof sometimes looks better when he plays with Bailly. Maguire looks better when he plays with... Like, they don't seem to play as a unit. And individually, I think they're not bad players. But as a unit, they're terrible. And maybe that is down to the coaching. Maybe they're not... Maybe Ollie needs a good defensive coach in there, because I don't think there is one. If you look at the coaches like Carrick, McKenna and that, they're all offensive coaches. Ollie himself obviously is a striker. Maybe he needs to give Jaap Stam a bell. Get him down.
Well, I noticed in It's the end of the year, of course, so we're seeing all these strange awards and stats. I don't know if you saw the stat that said that Harry Maguire has played more minutes of football than any other professional footballer at a top level in the entire world this year. So I think they're going to give him some kind of gold watch or clock on the pitch before the start. There are times, Danny, in the last month or so where it's looked like Harry's played a lot of football, hasn't it?
Yeah, but even when he first signed, it looked like he played too much football. The thing is, though, it's not in England. I don't know whether it's a Premier League thing, just an England thing. It's seen as like a badge of honour to not want to rest. You know, when they say, "Oh, he wants to play every minute of every game," well, sit down. Like it's obviously not good for you. Like, you don't eat every roaster at the carvery. Like,
hang on.
Speaking to the wrong two people there, Danny.
Well, there's still more spuds.
It's the same with Fernandes. If you looked after he came back after the restart, he looked like a shell because he's very tired.
So you sound very annoyed about Man United being in fourth with a game in hand, and if they win that, they're only 2 points behind the leaders, Liverpool. If they win the league, will you still be annoyed, Danny?
If they win the league, I'll be fuming that they didn't win the treble, Charlie. No, that's the thing with United fans. They are obviously historically very spoiled, but if you look, I think, because we know that we could easily end up 12th with a 5-game run or something. We're not. I mean, it's great that we're 2 points off Liverpool with a game in hand and fourth and stuff. But because we know the capacity to fail there is great, I think we're not sort of resting on our laurels just yet. I mean, I think it's terrible that we probably, if you ask every United fan, we'd all take fourth. Like at the start of the season.
Danny, what does your hashtag say? Hashtag Ole in or hashtag Ole out?
It depends. Ask me about 10:30 tonight.
Oh, I see. It's a fluid hashtag, is it?
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. You never know. I still don't know if he's good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like there's nothing to suggest. Like it's like sort of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, then 4 steps forward, 2 steps back, then another 1 step back. There's no consistency, and I still don't know whether he's good. You sort of got to give him the benefit of the doubt when we play rubbish, and you sort of can't give him any credit when we play well, because the thing he does the week after sort of negates what he's done the week before, and it's just a strange time. At least we all know Moyes wasn't up to it.
I do understand, though, why he's been given so much leeway by Manchester United fans. I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Danny, on BT television. There was a documentary about Manchester United's road to the 1999 Champions League final and their treble. And when you looked at the games, Inter Milan, Juventus, the final against Bayern, and when you looked at the team that Manchester United had, it's 20 years ago, so it's a lifetime. If you're a teenager, it's before your time. But for most people, it's still a living memory, and that's why you say United fans are spoiled. When you look at the actual footballers they had and the combination of, they went into that, I've forgotten, they went to that Champions League final without Roy Keane and Paul Scholes, arguably two players who would make it into an all-time Premier League midfield, and they still managed to win the game. I never blame United fans for being, to use your word, Danny, spoiled. What they really are is just remembering when they had teams that you couldn't even imagine now.
Yeah, and I think the issue of that is the issue with the owners and the fact that that's not even stuff on the pitch. The stuff you were saying there is recruitment. The players we had, the players we brought through, and that's what we've not been doing at the minute. We've been, some of the signings, that's one thing Ollie has done better, is his signings have been better. But the recruitment since Fergie's gone has been atrocious. And I think when you look at that, people hark back to how good a manager Fergie was, as good a coach Fergie was, and he was brilliant, but also the recruitment was a lot better. Obviously, there were some duds. We all remember Bebe. But yeah, the players were better. I think that's it. And it's not as if the players you could put out were better, not even the coaching. It's just like...
Danny, do you know what you sound like? And this is a big kick in the teeth for you, Man United fan here.
I know. You
sound like a late 90s Liverpool fan, is what you sound like.
I was about to say that.
That's what you sound like. We used to be brilliant in the 80s. We're not brilliant anmoore.
And Danny, finally, I'm going to ask this to all of the comedians who come on. I mean, obviously, the comedic circuit is much curtailed. All artistic endeavour is curtailed by the pandemic. And let me ask you a personal question: How are you making a living? How are you keeping your comedy chop sharp?
Well, I've been quite lucky. I did because we're up in the northwest. There's been a few tier 2s. And before that, outdoor gig. So I have still been doing some gigs and stuff. I've been keeping busy. I do a podcast as well. So, yeah, I've just been...
What's your podcast called, Danny? Tell everyone, because it's very funny.
Yeah. It's called the Damn Daniel Podcast.
Yeah, and it's very funny.
I like to name my podcast after vines that are 8 years old.
Danny, it's been I've not seen you actually, but I've not talked to you before, so it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Good luck tonight. I don't want to spoil your evening, but of course Wolves fans will want to spoil it very much indeed. That's Danny McLaughlin, a comedian and United fan. That game tonight is at Old Trafford at 8 o'clock kickoff. Like all the games today, you can hear them on the TalkSport network. That one's on here on TalkSport. 8 o'clock, Manchester United against Wolves.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King. Book now and secure your space at your favourite local on the Green King app or search Home of Pub Sports. 18 plus drink aware.
It's been such an unexpected year for business. At the beginning of the pandemic, my business really struggled. Looking at the finances, the numbers tell a story. Using Xero accounting software, I was able to see exactly what was happening. I could see where money was coming in, what was going out, and anything that was outstanding. Xero really does help business owners. See, they've even given me a spot on the radio. Hello, I'm Ade Hassan, founder of Nubian Skin.
Manage your accounts easily with Xero. Visit xero.com.
This is an important message about New Year's Eve. Around 1 in 3 people who have COVID-19 have no symptoms and will be spreading it without realizing. And now there is a new strain of the virus which spreads even faster. To protect each other and help stop the spread, you must not meet up with friends or family indoors unless they are in your household or support bubble. Avoid large gatherings of any kind. Let's see the new year in safely at home. Find all local restrictions and laws at gov.uk/coronavirus.
Live tonight, Amazon delivers 5 live games. Brighton v Arsenal, Southampton v West Ham, West Brom v Leeds, Burnley v Sheffield United, and Man United v Wolves.
Edison Cavani!
Coverage starts from 5 p.m.
Beautiful!
The Premier League. Live and exclusive. On Amazon Prime Video.
The DFS Grand Comfort Sale with Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, thank you, but we no longer need a new sofa, and now that we have my latest invention. It's the Sofa Patcher-Upper.
Oh.
Watch as we sit back and... do something, Gromit!
It's time to let the old sofa go and choose one that's handmade for you in the Grand Comfort Sale at DFS.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread, and you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Insurance Breakdown Cover. Add it to your car insurance policy and you won't need to worry about keeping moving this winter. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Cumbria, there's been a crash on the A66 at Cockermouth. It closes off the road in both directions between the Cockermouth roundabout and the Embleton turn-off. Into the west end of London, and Regent Street has been closed southbound for emergency waterworks from Margaret Street along to Oxford Circus. Oxford Street is also closed westbound for gasworks. That's from Charing Cross Road along to the junction at Berners Street. And in Herefordshire, a serious accident continues to close the A49 at Hereford. It's shut in both directions for recovery work just off the starting gate roundabout, so do expect delays. I'm Jonny Ratner.
I'm Jose Mourinho. I know a thing or two about being special. Tall Swedish strikers with little ponytails, special. Winning the daily jackpot on Paddy Power games, not special.
Understood, Jose. Yes, someone wins an average £40,000 jackpot every single day. So if you win, don't think you're special. Daily Daily Jackpots by Paddy Power Games. Jackpots must be awarded by 11 p.m. and vary from day to day. Jackpot is shared with other operators. Available on selected games. T's and C's at paddypower.com. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
This is what real sport sounds like. It's over the head of the goalkeeper, and he's bundled in. This is Talk Sport.
To Kelly and Baker here on Talk Sport, and don't forget this is normally Hawksby and Jacobs on Talk Sport, and search Green King Pub Hub now to find out everything you need to know before visiting a Green King pub. Let me say that I don't know whether I was shocked or just burst out laughing last night, with all due respect to somebody who's lost their job, when Tony Pulis was announced to have departed company with Sheffield Wednesday at what appeared to be literally, I was just getting used to the idea of him being Sheffield Wednesday manager.
Yeah.
And Charlie, suddenly he's gone. Let's talk to somebody who knows a bit about that club well. He knows it very, very well indeed, very much around it these days. I remember him playing, of course. John Newsom, the former Sheffield Wednesday defender, joins us now. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, excuse me saying I was laughing, but nothing in football surprises me anymore. There's a mystery and no mystery here, I suppose. The no mystery is that the results have been very poor for Sheffield Wednesday in the few weeks that Tony Pulis has been in charge. But the owner, Dejan Chansiri, in his statement made a point in saying about other issues. Do we know what the other issues are yet, John?
I don't think anybody does. I think we're all guessing. I think we've probably got educated guesses to what they are. You look at the past history in the last few years of the club under Dejan Chansiri. He came in and he invested quite a lot of money. We've had financial fair play issues. We've had, I think, 6-7 permanent managers in the last 4 or 5 years now. And one of them was at the hot seat for sort of 2.5 years. So, there's been a vast change of managers. And I think simply the club's just got no direction. It's a rudderless club at the moment.
So I'll be careful what I say here because I know you still work around the club. Do you think the problem here is not a succession of perfectly well-qualified football managers, but Mr. Chansiri himself and his gang?
That's the conclusion I've come to, in all honesty with you. I came to that conclusion a little while ago, I think. And I can't for the life of me think that an experienced manager like Tony Pulis would come into the football club having not had conversations with the owner about investment, about recruitment, in a window which is 45 days, 50 days away. So Tony Pulis in his press conferences has alluded that he doesn't feel the players are good enough. We need to wait for the January window. And the statement that came out yesterday from the football club and Mr. Chansiri states that although the results aren't good enough, there are other issues as well. So you can only assume that the other issues are that there's a difference of opinion in investment into the playing staff, and that's why Tony Pulis has decided to be relieved of his duties or walk out the door, whichever one is the case.
I mean, it's not unsavable. It's not unsavable, is it? They're 13 points, so they're 3 points off safety. So it's not unsavable at all. But it's not where Sheffield Wednesday, which is a huge, huge club in British football history, it's not where they should be, especially in the Championship. They really should be up there. What do you think the club needs to do then? Who do you think the club needs to get in? Do they need a young manager to be able to guide it forward, like some, or do they need someone like Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, a fan in charge? Who do you think they need?
I think that's $1 million question, isn't it? I think who they need and who they can actually attract to the football club are two very different things. As we just alluded to, the past history in the last few years of managers losing their jobs, financial fair play. I mean, take the summer. Gary Monk started the season. He had a window of a transfer window where he got to get players in, and you started on minus 12 points. Well, that's an incredibly difficult sell to a footballer. thankfully, they had 6 of those dropped, and they only started on -6 points. But you're now going into a January window where you are in a relegation battle. So, regarding a manager, I think you've got to try and get someone who is. I think the only person that you can attract to 1 or 2, it's either somebody who's been out of the game for a while and thinks, you know what, it might be a little bit of a poison chalice, but I'm going to take the opportunity anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe Tony Pulis was one of those. Or you look for somebody who's in the lower leagues who is an up-and-coming manager and sees it as an opportunity that they just cannot turn down.
I understand Torquay's manager is very, very good.
No, he's appalling. You don't want to go anywhere near Torquay's manager. He's appalling. You don't want him at all. No. What do you think Mr. Chansiri wants out of it?
$64 million question, that.
Again, that's the. Well, I think it's about a £200 million question at the moment.
Sure.
If we're, we believe what we had to read. I really don't know. I think he came into it probably quite a naive, not a football kind of person. He'd probably seen from afar the opportunities that were there for people to come into the game. And to be fair to him, he's thrown a lot of money at the club. He now realises that just throwing money at football clubs isn't the way to success, or is not always the way to success. And unfortunately, in my opinion, there's been a lot of wasted money down there. And I just fear that he has got to the point where he's probably fallen out with the idea of it all. It's costing him a lot of money. There needs to be another good amount of investment, whatever that could be, under financial fair play, and the club's got to get turned around, because we're staring at the trapdoor into Division 1, and as you've just said, yourselves, that it's a big football club. It's a big city. The city's full
John,
of football.
I can remember standing in crowds of 50,000, 2,000 Spurs fans and 48,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans for league games there. So you don't just sell me on how big the club is.
Exactly.
Very quickly, John. The world changes all the time. In a world with no fans at the moment, we've seen big clubs, Leeds and indeed Sheffield Wednesday, fall into the third tier. How much of a disaster would it be if Sheffield Wednesday fell into the third tier now?
An absolute disaster, I think. Financially, it would be a massive hit to the club. They're talking of salary caps next year. There's talk that there's rumour going round that the players at Sheffield Wednesday aren't getting paid at the moment, or not getting paid the full salaries. So there's obviously money issues at the club already. It would just be a bitter blow. I think a magician's got to come in at the helm to get us out of the situation that we're in at the moment. But where there's life, there's hope, I think.
Wow, that is a very bleak message to end on, John, but I totally understand your feelings as Sheffield Wednesday look to replace Tony Pulis. John hopes with a magician. Thanks to John Houston, the former Sheffield Wednesday
David Blaine in at Sheffield Wednesday. You heard it here first.
Nothing would surprise me.
He's great in the box, Danny. He's great in the box.
And he's prepared to spend time in the box as well.
He really is.
You're listening to Kelly and Baker.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King, showing every Premier League match live and free in our safe and socially distanced pubs nationwide. Green King, your home of pub sport. 18 plus, drink aware.
At AO, it's time for our big deal blowout. Save up to £200 on selected Samsung 4K TVs and pair it with popcorn for an epic movie night. Plus, save on your kitchen upgrade with £50 off selected built-in appliances over £399. Enjoy more deals at AO.com and get delivery to suit you 7 days a week. The destination for electricals. Terms and conditions, charges and geographical exclusions apply. Subject to availability.
Live tonight, Amazon delivers 5 live games. Brighton v Arsenal, Southampton v West Ham, West Brom v Leeds, Burnley v Sheffield United, and Man United v Wolves.
Edison Cavani!
Coverage starts from 5 p.m.
Beautiful!
The Premier League. Live and exclusive on Amazon Prime Video.
There once was a woman who craved Kentucky Fried Chicken.
She wanted it so much, but her sofa was so comfy and her house was so cosy. Luckily, she'd just heard on the radio that KFC deliver, so she ordered chicken to that very sofa. The end. Participating restaurants only.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread, and you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
It's been such an unexpected year for business. At the beginning of the pandemic, my business really struggled. Looking at the finances, the numbers tell a story. Using zero accounting software, I was able to see exactly what was happening. I could see where money was coming in, what was going out, and anything that was outstanding. Zero really does help business owners. See, they've even given me a spot on the radio. Hello, I'm Ade Hassan, founder of Nubian Skin.
Manage your accounts easily with Xero. Visit xero.com.
Saw my neighbour's lad the other day, and he said, "Hey, I passed my test, I'm going to get a car." And I said, "What type?" And he said, "Well, you know, can't be too picky." And I said, "Oh, yes, you can. You need Cinch." And he said, "What's Cinch?" Cinch lets you buy a quality check used car online. No haggling, with delivery included and a 14-day money-back guarantee. And he said, "Sounds like I'm in the driving seat now." And I said, "Oi, that's my line, cheeky. You're in the driving seat now, Britain." Cinch. Cars without the faff. UK mainland delivery only. T's and C's apply.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Freeview Channel 723.
Yeah, much to come in the next hour. We'll be talking about Leonid Slutsky. We'll be talking about the big cricket stories. We'll be previewing Southampton's game tonight against West Ham United, and a full preview of everything that's going on in the Championship. That's coming in the next hour of Kelly and Baker here on TalkSport, where it is now time to get the news and sport headlines. Here's Jake Robson.
Thank you, Danny. Coming up, NHS staff warned, and in sport, record number of Premier League positive COVID test results.
TalkSport.
Good afternoon. The Chief Executive of NHS England has praised NHS staff for their hard work, but warned that doctors and nurses are back in the eye of the storm. Sir Simon Stevens' tribute comes that it was revealed England's hospitals are treating more patients than they were during the peak of the first wave. Danny Mortimer, Chief Executive of the NHS Federation, says bed space is reduced because of social distancing, and the Nightingale hospitals can't really help.
The key point, of course, is that we don't have Nightingale staff. We have to take our existing workforce and just spread them more thinly. And at the moment, the call that's being made is to concentrate the people that we have got available in the core NHS institutions.
It comes as the military is being called in to help mass coronavirus testing in secondary schools. 1,500 personnel will give planning support, training and phone advice to English schools who need help with testing for the start of the new term next week. The government is going ahead with plans for schools to return in January, despite concerns about rising infection rates. And a strong earthquake has struck in Croatia, with reports of some injuries and damage to cars and buildings. European officials say it hit with a magnitude of 6.3, 17 miles from the capital Zagreb.
Talk Sport weather with QuickFit. Be in with a chance to win a Volvo XC60 when you buy 2 or more Pirelli tyres. Find your nearest centre and book online at quickfit.com and drive away happy. Participating centres, conditions apply.
Inland parts dry with sunny spells but cold. Wintry showers in most coastal areas moving south, but dying as they do so.
Talk Sport Sports Update with Which Trusted Traders. Is your business endorsed by the UK's consumer champion? Find out more and enhance your reputation at which.co.uk/trusted traders.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says ahead of tonight's match at home to Wolves, Manchester United will be taking memories of a 6-2 win against Leeds last time out there.
When the last game you played at Old Trafford gave you 6 goals, I'm sure the boys will look forward to it. It gave us confidence, that performance. It also gave us a little gauge on how fit we are, that we could match them.
Manchester United v Wolves is exclusively live on TalkSport from 8 o'clock tonight. Off the back of Bruno Fernandes' good form, Solskjaer's men will have to contend with the Portuguese playmaker in the opposition tonight. João Moutinho has drawn comparisons with his counterpart, but the Wolves man told us they do have their differences.
Bruno have characteristics I don't have it. I have it, some he don't have it.
It's different. Of course, he's a very good player. What he already showed in Manchester when he came, he do a very good job.
Kilmarnock say they'll pursue the strongest possible action against whoever's behind racist abuse aimed at their manager. Police Scotland are also investigating after a letter was received about Alex Dyer after Boxing Day's defeat to Livingston. And Liverpool have appointed Andreas Schlumberger as the club's new head of recovery and performance. The 54-year-old who worked with Jurgen Klopp during a 4-year spell at Dortmund joins from Schalke, where he was head of fitness. Remember, there's 5 more Premier League commentaries across the TalkSport network this afternoon and evening. You can hear each of them via the TalkSport app.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM, Danny Kelly and Charlie Baker on TalkSport.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late to the queue there because my eyes are still recovering from the sight of Charlie Baker's fish flops. More about that in a second. For those of you joining us late, and a bit like Alfred Hitchcock, I don't like you coming too late to the show. Welcome to the second hour of 3 of today's edition of Kelly and Baker here on TalkSport. Sports, sitting in, of course, for Hawksby and Jacobs. I'm Danny Kelly. He's Charlie Baker. You're the listening millions, and that's how we like it. During the course of the next hour, we'll be talking about cricket. We'll be talking about Southampton's game tonight against West Ham, and we'll be talking about all the big championship fixtures. Lots and lots of these games are live on the TalkSport network during the course of the afternoon and evening, so you wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Very quickly, when you said, Charlie, we were talking a little bit earlier about the weird Christmas presents people gave us this year, because, of course, not everyone was in everyone else's presents this Christmas, presents with a C, and so people were able to give you almost anything. Charlie's taken up fishing. And when you said fish flops, I thought you meant they were like normal flip-flops with perhaps a fish print on the part of what stands
you
on.
mean tasteful, Danny?
Oh no, these are full three-dimensional fish into where you appear to be putting your toes into one of the gills and your big toe out the front of its mouth.
Yeah, they're pretty lifelike, aren't they? I think that's what my wife doesn't like about them particularly, is the fact that they do actually just look like you've got fish on your feet.
Let me just. There's only one way to go with this. I can't remember what's your Twitter. Is
Baker's tweet? Yes. Let me just check in the picture. There's no address. My home address isn't on it, Danny. Because 99% of our listeners are very nice, of course. But of course, you get the odd one who is.
I can see a parcel. Is your home address on it?
Possibly. I don't know. Let me just check.
Okay,
before you tweet it out, of course. But yes, what a lovely gift, though, Danny. But I've taken. Did you fish, Danny? You're in Ireland. Do you ever go fishing?
No, and I live really near one of the great fishing rivers, the River Barrow, and also the Nore and the Suir.
Well, you're missing out. The best TV show I saw this Christmas was the White House and Mortimer one, where they went fishing in Middlesbrough and they visited Bob's old house and went fishing for all sorts of brilliant.
Charlie, this is going to sound a bit eggy because we hardly know each other. But when this is all over, and you know what I'm referring to,
yes,
come up here to the hills, and then you'll be able to go. It's a 5-minute drive or a 2-minute roll down the hill to the river. If you've got a skateboard, you can go there in about 30 seconds.
Do you ever find the edge?
Go fishing there.
Do you ever find the edge, though, Danny, in your geekdom? Have you ever found the edge? Because I got really into fishing, really into it. I thought I was really into it this summer, and sort of went quite a lot, And then I met some proper fishermen who are like camping out all night, have 4 rods, chum the water for 3 weeks before they go. All this. And I'm like, I'm not into that. I like taking a rod down and chucking it in the water, but these blokes are like.
And are you a put them back out, or are you an eater?
No, of course you are.
You wouldn't eat them?
No, it's catch and release. Always catch and release, Danny.
Thank you.
I think you can eat them. I think you can eat the sit ones out the sea, but out the river, it's catch and release, of course. Yeah.
Well, listen, we must get on to the subject of Slutsky in a minute, but first, it was desperate to listen to John Newsom there. Obviously, a Sheffield Wednesday man through to his backbone in a terrible state, but when Tony Pulis's reign at Sheffield Wednesday, while everyone's laughing about how short it was, you as a Torquay fan must be going, hang on, he's like Queen Victoria.
Well, unfortunately for us, yes, we do hold the record of the shortest-lived ever manager. And it's unfortunately one of our greatest, if not our greatest ever manager, Leroy Rossignol, who was with us and with us for a spell and took us into League One, the heights of League One, with a brilliant team, with his son Liam playing in the brilliant team. And then, for whatever reason, he left. And then we had a couple of other managers, and then Leroy made the big comeback. And as he was being announced as the manager, there was a takeover deal that went through, and another manager was announced. Paul Buckle was announced, and so Leroy was our manager for 10 minutes, and is in the Guinness Book of Records.
It's magnificent.
But it's such a shame that he's such a brilliant man and such a brilliant manager that I want the stain removed from his record, if you know what I mean, because he was so good.
Well, when I was thinking about short-lived things to do with football, I was reminded I may have spent the least time of any fan in a football ground during an actual match in the 1970s, when Spurs was a pretty chaotic club, and when people will remember this were the times when you paid cash at turnstiles, and so it was absolutely mad.
Who knew how many were in the ground?
People were going over the top of the turnstiles. People were getting bunged 10 bob or whatever it was, and groat to go underneath the turnstiles. Kids were being lifted over the top of the turnstiles. And there was chaos one day at the main stand at Spurs, the big old stand. And we were playing West Bromwich Albion. And I could hear the crowd going mad, and it was 3:10, and I wasn't getting in. The queue was going on. It went on and on and on, and I didn't get into the ground until about 42 minutes into the game. Now, in those days, there was a set of steps up to the standing terraces, so you walked, you were looking at a pile of steps and then the back of people's bodies.
Yeah.
So I walked up to the top of the steps, turned to the bloke next to me, with no scoreboards, and said, "What's happening here then?" He said, "We're 3 down." I turned straight back down, walked down the steps and out of the ground. I swear I was in the ground for less than 45 seconds.
Yeah, that's
but
nice.
I'm not queuing up for an hour and a half to watch a team that are 3 down before half time at home. I'd like to tell you that Spurs turned around and won 4-3. They didn't.
There we are. I think we'll take people's texts on the shortest they've been at a match. 81089.
81089 is the text number. You can tweet. You can tweet at TalkSport if you like. Absolutely, at TalkSport. Have you ever been anywhere? A party, anywhere for a really short time?
Anywhere, lovely stuff.
Yeah, a really short time. I was in a football ground for 45 seconds. I'm not having that. Now, listen. Any of you who is on Twitter will know that the sensation from the football world over the past few days, I'm sure you've already heard it a million times here on TalkSport, is the former Hull City manager, these days at Rubin Kazan, the lovely, how can I put it, full-faced man that is Leonid Slutsky. You said ski, etc. Beloved of Trans Europe Express, which I present every Sunday night. Well, Mr. Slutsky and the boys from Rubin Kazan smashed 2020 into the next century with their Christmas video in which Leonid sung word for word the full song of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. Listen to this.
I don't want a lot for Christmas, wait, just what I need. And I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking where upon the fireplace. Santa Claus won't make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own.
Leonid Slutsky, everybody, giving it plenty.
Danny, I think Mariah Carey's got something to worry about, because I've been sick of that song this year, to be honest. It's been overplayed. It's been absolutely everywhere. And I've been like, I don't know. But that has brought a new lease of joy to it, a new lease of life.
I think I'd settle for the video with Mariah in the Santa suit and Leonid's version banging away over the top of it. You should have this show on video, people, because during that, I managed to turn my camera here in my home towards our rather beautiful Christmas tree there, that Zaza the cat is still allowed to stand, unlike last Christmas when she decided that would be better off on the floor. But of course, this
what
got
a
me
character
thinking.
About is, though, Danny. I've been reading up on him a little bit. Unbelievable.
Tell us more.
I got sent a story. I got sent a story about him, which is about his playing career was cut short when he fell out of a tree attempting to rescue an elderly neighbour's cat. That's how his career ended. It's unbelievable.
Brilliant.
That's from Matt Honeyman. Thanks, Matt.
And I think the people at the whole city remember him with great pleasure, great affection, because he was a very open character, and that is just, it was such a shock to see him, quite apart from the fact that his lovely accent, and then belting the song out. It was just great.
He gave it a good go.
And it got me thinking about some other footballers who are around at the moment, rather than digging out Hoddle and Waddle and all the rest of it. And we're just, and how seriously some of them take it. We all know, famously, Roberto Solano of Newcastle United. We all know famously someone's name I can't remember. Used to play the trumpet to Bobby Robson's great annoyance. Well, now, of course, if you're any kind of musician at all and you're a famous footballer, you have your own YouTube channel dedicated to it. This is the former Chelsea and Arsenal goalkeeper, Petr Cech. Rocking it big style. That's him on the drums.
Drums, isn't it? Yeah.
Not bad. Not
bad, Danny. It's a little bit it just feels a little bit, I don't know, a bit too heavy. Bit too
clumpy,
heavy.
A bit clumpy, yeah.
There it is. Now, speaking to the wrong people here about how good that drummer is.
It's fine. Now, of course, I am a self-appointed world expert on hip-hop and rap.
Of course.
I am. And so, again, another favourite of Trans-Europe Express is Memphis Depay.
Mm-hmm.
These days of Lyon, soon to be, if he gets his way, of Barcelona. And Memphis, among the many, many things that makes his life so colourful, is a self-appointed top-class rapper. He genuinely thinks he's Jay-Z or MF Doom. This is now, we had to find 25 seconds in which Memphis does not swear, and this is it.
Heavy stepper got track on my heels, signed a new deal. Now she want ice, shawty chill. I got a meal. Mom's was in debt, so I paid the bills. Whatever was left, put back in the bag, confessed in the crib. It is what it is. You live and you learn, so I tell these kids, listen to this.
Now, the important thing here, Charlie, is that not only is he doing the rapping, but he's got a lot of very 1980s bling on in the video. He takes it seriously.
It's not awful, is it? It's not too bad. He's doing
it's generically okay, isn't it?
Is this what footballers do now? Instead of going to the pub in the afternoon, they release records.
Instead of going to the pub, the bookmakers, or making eyes at each other's partners, they now have a YouTube station in which they do their music. I mean, taking it equally seriously, and you could argue more seriously than he's treated his football career. Hesse, you'll remember him playing for Stoke. Did he also have a terrible time at Newcastle?
Oh, yes.
And these days, he is pulling down a massive wage at PSV, at Paris Saint-Germain. And I imagine that when Pochettino arrives there in about, I've just been on the phone to Maurizio, about 15 minutes he'll be there, the first person through the door at the speed of something being accelerated by the Hadron Collider will be Hesse, because he spends all his time on his musical career.
Proper Europop, Danny. There,
he cannot hit a banjo with a barn door in playing professional football, Charlie. But he found time to make a fully professional.
I feel like I've got a local station on and I'm driving around in a rental car.
Yeah, with the top down.
With the top down in Portugal or somewhere, you know.
I was going to say with the top of your head burned, but you've got such a fantastic head of hair, Charlie.
Currently.
More about that later when we talk about you as the new James Bond, which I genuinely believe you've got a chance of being. I perhaps ought to have signposted that a little earlier in the show. That's not just come. I haven't just pulled that out of some part of my fundament.
I wonder where that came from.
Generally, I think you could be the next James Bond.
Thank you,
that was some of the more serious musical efforts following the fantastic singing of Leonid Slutsky. When we come back, we'll be joined by Jared Kimber, Australian cricket expert, on an extraordinary 48 hours for the other great game.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King. Book now and secure your space at your favourite local on the Green King app or search Home of Pub Sport. 18 plus drink aware.
There once was a woman who craved Kentucky Fried Chicken. She wanted it so much, but her sofa was so comfy and her house was so cosy. Luckily, she'd just heard on the radio that KFC deliver, so she ordered chicken to that very sofa. The end. Participating restaurants only.
This is an important message about New Year's Eve. Around 1 in 3 people who have COVID-19 have no symptoms and will be spreading it without realizing. And now there is a new strain of the virus, which spreads even faster. To protect each other and help stop the spread, you must not meet up with friends or family indoors unless they are in your household or support bubble. Avoid large gatherings of any kind. Let's see the new year in safely at home. Find all local restrictions and laws at gov.uk/coronavirus.
10, 9, 8.
Come on, pick up the pace a bit.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And let's bring on New Year's Day right now. Because there's an incredible 10 UK millionaires guaranteed with Euro Millions on Friday the 1st of January. And that, my friends, really is dream come true money. Get the new year off to a dream start with Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Play on app, online and in-store. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread. And you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
TalkSport Breakfast in partnership with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. Move up through the gears every morning with top-of-the-range Sports Edition ABS story-breaking news and more goal talk to the gallon. Plus, a stellar lineup of super celebrity sports guests as standard. TalkSport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 on TalkSport with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Business Insurance. We'll help you find the right cover for your business. From plumbers and electricians to landlord or taxi insurance. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Leicestershire, the M1 southbound's a lane shut for a breakdown. It's between junction 22 at Colville and junction 21A for Leicester North. The inside lane is shut there. In Cheshire, the M6 northbound at Thelwall Viaduct, there's a lane shut for emergency repairs between the Lymm interchange and Woolston. That's junction 20 towards junction 21. And around Bristol, the M5 southbound traffic's being held at the moment while they do some emergency repairs near junction 16 for Aztec West. I'm Adam Moore.
I'm Jose Mourinho. I know a thing or two about being special. Being a two-time winner of the Champions League? Special. Winning the daily jackpot on Paddy Power Games? Not special.
Understood, Jose. Yes, someone wins an average £40,000 jackpot every single day. So if you win, don't think you're special. Daily Jackpots by Paddy Power Games. Jackpots must be awarded by 11 p.m. and vary from day to day. Jackpot is shared with other operators. Available on selected games. T's and C's at paddypower.com. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Tuesday is game day. Exclusive full match commentary of
Southampton versus West Ham.
Coverage from 5:55. Kickoff 6 p.m. on the TalkSport app.
Yeah, you're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs with our good friends at Green King here on Talk Sport in the form, as it happens, of me, Danny Kelly, and him, Charlie Baker. I have indeed cropped the picture of Charlie Baker's Christmas present, his fish flops.
There'll be no one knocking on the door.
The parcel with your home address on it. It's a bit like the time when I thought I was putting out on Twitter the station's phone number, 08717 223344. Actually put my mobile number up on Twitter for several minutes.
Stuff.
Yeah, that was a mistake, which I've not really recovered. But Charlie's terrible fish flops are up on Twitter now. So if you go to my Twitter feed, at Danny Kelly Words, and I'm sure he'll be tweeting it on at
Baker's tweet.
Baker's tweet. Baker's tweet. Very good indeed. Keep coming your things where you've been to a football match or something else for a very short amount of time. They're very good. We'll do them a bit later, because right now I want to talk about an amazing 48 hours in different ways for the world of cricket. And joining us, of course, he's a great friend of the station. He's on there 24/7. I'm delighted to say Australian cricket writer Jared Kimber joins us. Hi, Jared.
Oh, there he is.
Hello, Jared.
Hey, can you hear me?
There we can.
I'm here.
Yes, I can. There you are, Jared. There you are, yeah. There were various technologies there involved. Jared, a few days ago, in the series between India and Australia, two of the strongest teams in the world, we saw India surrender for the lowest score in Test cricket since before I was born. Yeah, cut down a tree in your garden, count the rings in that one, since before I was born. And yet, yesterday we saw them fight back without Virat Kohli to beat a really strong Australian team at home. A, it was an incredible performance, and B, India are not the team they used to be 30 years ago when you could just roll them over again and again and again.
No, I mean, definitely, the bench strength that India have at the moment. I remember a couple of years ago, Cricket Australia were trying to push their development pathways and their squads, and it was all based on the fact that eventually India was going to work out how to get the most out of the billion people that all, quite a few of them are incredibly obsessed with cricket, and everyone else is going to have to play catch up. And I think you could see that in the bench strength in this particular test. They had 4 players come into the side after being rolled for 36. And they beat Australia. Now, to be fair, they were dominating that match against Australia until they were bowled out for 36, and they probably should have won the first test as well. So they were a pretty good team. It's maybe not the incredible comeback that we're talking about, although emotionally it does feel that way. But when it comes down to it, India is a very, very good team, and Australia has the same problems that it had in Adelaide. It's just that this time their bowlers, unfortunately for them, couldn't bowl the team out for 36 again.
I mean, the great writer Mihir Bose, you will often sport reflects society, and they were never going to get rolled over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that you say, I suppose, in retrospect. But realistically, I think Australia bowled just as well in Melbourne as they did in Adelaide. The difference was, in Adelaide, they didn't drop a single catch. And every time there was a play and miss in that 36 session, someone got an edge to the keeper or to slips. Whereas there was a really good session of bowling where I thought Cummins and Stark were incredible. And then Hazelwood came on the back of that as well. But they just didn't get as many wickets.
Yeah.
And, sometimes that happens. I mean, in professional sport, we like to narrative it. And what Mihir is saying in general in Indian society is completely true. But I think in this particular case, the difference was in one innings, they got a lot of edges, and in the other innings, they just missed the ball. And sometimes that just helps.
It's just one of those days, the 36 then, wasn't a massive drop in form.
Yeah, well, I talked to Harmy on TalkSport 2 about it, the day after, and I said, Harmy, you've had these, you've been on both sides of them, sadly, but you've had the good day where you just come in and bowl it, and every time you bowl a ball, someone nicks it. Stuart Broad had one of those a couple of years ago in Trent Bridge, didn't he? I've seen Stuart Broad bowl as good as he did that day before and end up with no wickets, and sometimes those sorts of things happen. I think the difference now is the professionalism of Indian cricket, and you can say this about the major teams, New Zealand, Australia, and England are all on this sort of level now. They kind of know if you bowled out for 36, that doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. Yeah. When cricketers were amateurs, it was actually a little bit different because there was a different kind of pride, whereas now it's like you can barely remember it. Literally, what happened? They got rolled for 36, lost a test, had to go into a new bubble in Melbourne. There was Christmas stuff. They had to do new promotions. Their captain was leaving. There was a lot of things going on in their mind, and next thing you know, they're facing Pat Cummins again. Sometimes that can help. Sometimes it goes the complete opposite way. They could have been bowled out for 18.
Jared, we've got very little time, so I'm going to ask you to use your linguistic skills to knit together a news story that, to me, has two very contrasting things: professional cricket and Disney.
Well, Disney have been involved in cricket for a long time. They own ESPN Cricinfo, and they've been interested in cricket for a long time. It's just that because it's an American company, they've been very confused by it. But now they're making a huge play, Disney, into the Indian market. And part of that is through ESPN Cricinfo, part of that is through ESPN, and then you've got the Star Network, which they're also involved with. So essentially, what they are trying to do is they are trying to make sure that they are a Disney Plus, but a sports version, and they want the cricket rights, which means that if you're an English cricket fan, you might have to get BT, Sky, eventually Amazon, maybe Netflix, and if you want to watch England, India, there's every chance you'll have to get a Hotstar membership. So it's getting more and more confusing to be a sports fan these days.
Yeah, I must have missed a boat somewhere, because at one stage I briefly owned Cricinfo when I had 365. So somewhere along the line I seem to have sold it off a bit cheaply. It's all gone very, very wrong. Thank you very much indeed, Jared Kimber,
Thanks, Jared.
whose report ends without us even getting a chance to discuss that. England bad boying out. A favourite Alex Hales in the Big Bash yesterday for the Sydney Thunder made 71 from 29 balls. Beautiful. You're listening to Kelly and Baker.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King, showing every Premier League match live and free in our safe and socially distanced pubs nationwide. Green King, your home of pub sport. 18 plus, drink aware.
At Ring, we've reinvented the doorbell. So no matter where you are, you can watch over your home and the things you care about. Ring Video Doorbell streams HD video and two-way talk straight to your phone, so you can speak to whoever's at your door from anywhere.
Delivery.
Oh, great. Can you leave it round the back, please?
Sure, no problem.
See, hear and speak to whoever's at your door from wherever you are with a Ring Video Doorbell.
Bottle of Pepsi Max for maximum taste, no sugar. So much good stuff. So little time. Now at KFC for only $15.99 at drive-thru, takeaway and delivery. Ends 3rd of January at participating restaurants subject to availability.
10, 9, 8.
Come on, pick up the pace a bit.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And let's bring on New Year's Day right now. Because there's an incredible 10 UK millionaires guaranteed with Euro Millions on Friday the 1st of January. And that, my friends, really is dream come true money. Get the new year off to a dream start with Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Play on app, online and in-store. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
This isn't just music. It's a feeling. The feeling of being out on the road with the sun on your face and the wind in your hair. Get that feeling. Join the AA today. Our mechanics fix 8 out of 10 cars at the roadside and can get you going again in around 30 minutes of arrival. Plus, with unlimited call-outs, we'll always get you back on the road. Switch to the UK's #1 breakdown service from just £6 a month. Visit theaa.com and join today. New customers only, T's and C's apply.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms can spread it. So we need to keep washing our hands when we get to work, keep wearing our face coverings in shops, keep making space when we're out and about. Morning. And now we're indoors more, we should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to protect each other and help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Business Insurance. We'll help you find the right cover for your business. From plumbers and electricians to landlord or taxi insurance. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Cheshire, the M6 northbound, there's a lane shut at the Thelwall Viaduct. That's for emergency repairs between Junction 20, the Lim interchange, and Junction 21 at Woolston. In Somerset, the M5, there's a lane shut in both directions for repairs between Wellington and Tiverton. That's Junctions 26 and 27, the outside lane closed there for barrier repairs. And in Warwickshire at Willoughby, the A45 London Road still shut after flooding, closed at the Willoughby Village Centre junction. I'm Adam Moore.
Businesses who deal with Europe. Time is running out, fast. We've got new rules coming on the 1st of January, and we need to make sure we're ready. Sure, it's another thing on the to-do list, but it's work that won't be wasted, no matter what. Don't get caught out. Visit gov.uk/transition and use the Brexit Checker tool now to get personalised actions for your business. Check, change, go.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker.
Exclusive coverage of the PDC World Darts Championship live on TalkSport 2.
Welcome back to North London. Alexandra Palace hosts the last 32 stage of the World Darts Championship right here. And we have already begun set number 5 with Daryl Gurney leading 3-1 right now and throwing first in this set. He's currently on 306 and he's got himself a 139 to leave himself on 167, 1/3 of a 501 score, and Derby has got to find something quick, hasn't he, Mace?
Well, we've seen Bunty come from 2-0 down against James Wade. Stephen Bunting reeling off 4 on the spin, while Derby found himself 3 down,
89,
and he has to do the same. He has to reel off 4. He's got 1 in the last set where he averaged 105.11. But up against it in this set, as rightly said, Paul, Gurney has the throw.
Also at 6 o'clock over on TalkSport 2, West Brom against Leeds in the Premier League. Premier League action at 6 o'clock on the TalkSport app. Exclusive coverage of Southampton against West Ham. Also on the app, again at 6 o'clock, Burnley against Sheffield United. And then the big one tonight, Manchester United against Wolves, is here on TalkSport from 8 o'clock. You won't miss anything on the TalkSport network, including... we shall hope that Southampton, as we said, their game against West Ham from St Mary's is very much one of our commentary games, helping us preview that. I'm delighted to say another comedian, Southampton fan, Paul McCaffrey. Hello, Paul.
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
very, very good indeed. Good. Before we get to you, Paul, we got a lot of texts about, we talked about Tony Pulis being in the job for 5 weeks. People who've been in football grounds for a very short period of time. I'll read one here. This came from, let me see who this came from. I can easily beat Danny's effort, he says. A train from London to Bromsgrove to watch the mighty Halesoe in town. No taxis to be had at the train station, so got there at half time. Paid to get in. The ref called it off for fog. That's from, I can't quite remember, Guy Cooper, yes, indeed. And he says, hashtag no refunds. And I think you've got a good one there, Charlie, as well.
Yeah, actually, my stag do, we went to Torquay Kidderminster, and that was called off for fog just before it started. That was a disaster. Yeah, hang
on, back up. For your stag do, you did what?
We went to see Torquay United play, and it was called off on a Saturday. Can you believe it? There we are.
I was just stag, so you didn't have the prospective Mrs. Charlie with you?
No. Anyway, I think here we go. Here's another one. I think I can beat your 45 seconds in a football ground. I'm a Liverpool fan, but once went watching Wigan away at Brentford, as a lot of my mates are Latics fans. I was 21 at the time, but look quite young for my age. So walked up to the turnstiles and said, under 16s, please, and managed to pass through. Unfortunately, I was pretty drunk at the time, and as I got through and I shouted, ha, 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 got in as an under 16, a police officer grabbed my shoulder and said, you are clearly drunk and over 16, out you go, kick me out. 10 seconds they were in there, Danny. I think that does beat yours. What have you got, Paul? What's the shortest you've been at a game?
Well, I live in Brighton and was a member of the gym that was attached to the Withing. So I'd sometimes try and sort of like tie my workouts in around, because you could see the pitch from the cross trainer, the treadmill. So I think my sort of fitness levels probably sort of prevented me from staying for the full 90 minutes. So I don't know what the shortest amount of time would have been, but yeah, I mean, certainly not a full match, but yeah.
Well, what a start! What a start for Southampton. Well, what a brilliant season they're having, Paul. I mean, that 9-1 last season really did them some good, didn't it? I mean, maybe all teams should try that, losing.
I wonder when people will stop mentioning that when they talk about
never.
I don't know. I think that's sort of like, that result has now defines us. I think what people need to be talking about more is how we sort of came back from that. Our form after lockdown, I mean, we were sort of, I think us and United were like the form side. You know, the sort of stats, if you'd have had a league that started after lockdown, we would have sort of been sort of second or third. And I think, you know, the end of last season is so weird now, isn't it? It's impossible to remember what happened when and sort of timelines. Yeah. But, yeah, certainly this season, you know, I think we've got a lot of players who have sort of reached their full potential at the same time. You know, Romeo, Vestergaard has been great, Stuart Armstrong, Shea Adam has started scoring. It's great. I was a bit unsure about Walcott coming back as well. I'm always sort of slightly dubious about players or managers returning to clubs. It's always a bit like, is this going to be? But he seems to be really enjoying himself.
Yeah, but a bit of a victory lap, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has dropped off a little bit since Ings has got injured. I mean, that is always the worry when you're not. I'm not going to call you a one-man team because you're not, Paul. But he is your main. He is your main. Your main striker, and since he's gone, the form has gone a bit.
Well, hopefully he'll be back tonight. And but yes, I mean, there were still goals. It was good to see that there was goals coming from other places. So that was encouraging. But I mean, the Fulham game, I don't know if you caught that. I mean, that was pretty dull. I mean, that put me off football for the rest of the day. I didn't bother watching the Arsenal game. I watched Greece instead because I was I can't sit for another 90 minutes.
Who looks older? Is it Danny Ings or Danny Zuko?
Who looks cooler or older? Oh, Danny Zuko, yeah. From mid-40s, I think most of the cast were in that film.
It's incredible, yeah.
Extraordinary. But, it'd be interesting to see what happens tonight. It's quite similar sides. And we're doing so much better at home without the fans there as well, which is sort of slightly worrying. Our home
what do you put that down to, Paul?
Well,
have you got a theory?
Some of our fans can be a little bit negative. I think they can sort of get on our players, and I think that's sort of... I don't know. But there's obviously something in it because, we historically have never done well when we've been on TV, and our home record, certainly recently prior to the pandemic was terrible. So I don't know what it is. But
how does Southampton kick on again, Paul? How do they? Because they are now an established Premier League side, and their manager. I mean, you've got to stop people trying to nick your manager. I expect soon. He's been that good.
And our players
and your players.
Well.
But so what's good for Southampton? What's their next jump? Just get into those European spots.
Yeah, I mean. I think sort of we've always kind of settled. We've had a few seasons where it's sort of FA Cup final. Was it 2002-2003 season? FA Cup final. I think we finished 8th in the league that year. So we've had a couple of sort of seasons that have been like that. I mean, I've been so many seasons where it's been like gone down to the wire. So. I don't really know. Obviously, Europe would be nice. Yeah. Europa League, or a cup final, or even to win a cup would be nice. But
it's tough.
I don't really answer the question. But
Paul, I know you said when people stop mentioning the 9, I can't. I must mention it again because, well, listen, there's a reason. There's a reason for it, Paul, and that is you say it's come to define us.
Pavlovian response to the
well, no, because
in any context, the thing that will usually follow is a mention of that 9-0 defeat.
But prior to the 9-0,
career.
It's a generational thing. It's a generational thing. Was it worse when Leeds United's horrible team under Don Revie cut you to pieces, or what we saw the other day? I mean, a lot of the credit for this must go to Ralph Hasenhüttl, and he's got to stay there, or he mustn't leave the Premier League. Because I just love saying Ralph Hasenhüttl. It's one of the great names, isn't it?
It's a really satisfying name to say, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Ralph Hasenhüttl is there now.
It's a word that kind of forces you to just kind of sort of lean into it. It's sort of like a word that you would say with a sort of slight like croissant or Hasenhüttl. It sort of really makes you raise your kind of vocal game.
If I wore a hat, I would literally lift it off slightly as I was saying Hasenhüttl is so enjoyable. Listen, Southampton, it's not like they're going to take the pitch on their own. West Ham United coming to town. Any fear of David Moyes' occasionally revived West Ham United?
Well, I think it's a tough ball tonight, actually, I have to say. I mean, yeah. Obviously, if Ings and Romeo are back, I'd sort of feel more confident going into it. But, what do you reckon is going to happen? Just while I'm on the subject as well, I went to watch Southampton on my stag do, Charlie.
Oh, did you? Yes, it's a good stag doing thing, but unfortunately for me, it was cancelled, and then the nightclub was shut on the Saturday night. But it's a whole other story. We're still married.
Lucky the wedding went ahead, wasn't it?
We're still married. Paul, now, Danny, just before we let Paul go, he has been keeping himself very busy during lockdown because he's been running really successful gigs in the garden of your local pub. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah,
fantastic.
Right, yeah. Incredible sort of, 12 months ago someone would have shown you and you'd have gone, not a chance. How quickly it became like, you adapted and your expectations sort of changed in a way that gigs outdoors, as you know yourself, Charlie, usually fill you with a sort of certain amount of dread. But I think the goodwill from people, everyone was so happy to be able to sort of come out and do something together. Obviously, we're quite lucky with what we do that people can just come and sit. It doesn't require a huge amount of milling about or dancing or anything like that. So it was a good way of people having a sort of collective human experience. And, it was really good fun, actually. So,
Paul, congratulations to you for doing that, man. That is amazing because, we all know that the performing arts and the arts in general have been absolutely ignored by the government in all of this. And so thank you very much to Paul McCaffrey. And if any of you can do, whether online or in person, in safety, of course, to support the arts in any way, shape or form, make sure you try and do it. And we're going to end this section because, of course, the show is completely dominated by Torquay. yet another text about it. I once drove 6 hours to watch Torquay, only to be stopped at the ground to say away fans have been banned. 6 hours back home, not a happy chappy.
No, I wonder who that wonder why they were banned that day.
My 45 seconds in the ground, given somebody the way these texts are going, it's like I'd emigrated to White Hart Lane Estate.
You were swimming around in there, luxuriating, Danny.
Next up, we'll be joined by the former Luton Town and Bristol City and many other clubs striker Tony Thorpe to preview all the big games in the Championship.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King. Book now and secure your space at your favourite local on the Green King app or search Home of Pub Sport. 18 plus drink aware.
10, 9, 8.
Come on, pick up the pace a bit.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And let's bring on New Year's Day right now. Because there's an incredible 10 UK millionaires guaranteed with Euro Millions on Friday the 1st of January. And that, my friends, really is dream come true money. Get the new year off to a dream start with Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Play on app, online and in store. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
Whether it's getting back into work, thinking about a different job, or helping you improve your CV, we can help you make a new start. Visit gov.uk/jobhelp. A good place to start.
Live tonight, Amazon delivers 5 live games. Brighton v Arsenal, Southampton v West Ham, West Brom v Leeds, Burnley v Sheffield United, and Man United v Wolves.
Edison Cavani!
Coverage starts from 5 p.m.
Beautiful!
The Premier League. Live and exclusive. On Amazon Prime Video.
Want to park up and get your Big Mac brought to your car? Step 1. Place an order on the My McDonald's app. Step 2. Park in a Click and Serve numbered bay, enter the number in the app, and we'll bring your meal right over. So you can enjoy your Big Mac feeling like a big deal. New Click and Serve on the My McDonald's app. As simple as it sounds. Click and Serve available at participating restaurants only. See mcdonalds.co.uk for full list. Serving times may apply. Do not download or use the app whilst driving.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread, and you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
Every massive weekend of sport kicks off with Gameday breakfast on TalkSport with Ladbrokes.
He shoots, he scores. Make sure you're fully prepped with all the latest form, odds and expert speculation direct from Ladbrokes.
Oh yes, what a goal!
Gameday breakfast every Saturday morning from 6 on TalkSport with Ladbrokes.
Choose your ACCA and hit the boost button to get bigger odds with ACCA Boost. Sport, it's good to have you back. Conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Traffic and Travel on Talk Sport with Swinton Insurance. We'll help you find the right cover for your car, home, bike, van, taxi and business. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Cheshire, the M6 northbound, there's a lane shut at the Thelwall Viaduct. That's for emergency repairs between Junction 20, the Lim interchange, and Junction 21 at Woolston. In Somerset, the M5, there's a lane shut in both directions for repairs between Wellington and Tiverton. That's Junctions 26 and 27. The outside lane closed there for barrier repairs. And in Warwickshire at Willoughby, the A45 London Road still shut after flooding, closed at the Willoughby Village Centre Junction. I'm Adam Moore.
I'm Jose Mourinho. I know a thing or two about being special. Tall Swedish strikers with little ponytails, special. Winning the daily jackpot on Paddy Power games, not special.
Understood, Jose. Yes, someone wins an average £40,000 jackpot every single day. So if you win, don't think you're special. Daily Jackpots by Paddy Power Games.
Jackpots must be awarded by 11 p.m. and vary from day to day. Jackpot is shared with other operators. Available on selected games. T's and C's at paddypower.com. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. This is what real sport sounds like. Football, philosophy, a flutter, and some phone calls.
Hello.
Anybody there?
Talk Sport.
Those eyes are due for. If there's only what to say, they make me glad. They make me sad. They make me want a lot of things.
After the Leonard Slutsky incident, we've been looking for other football personalities with decent voice. This is Terry Venables, former England manager.
I think Terry could really do it. Terry had some proper singles out and everything, didn't he? You can see him.
He did indeed.
See him in the
mighty. The EMI label saw fit to pay and put out this and Bye Bye Blackbird on a single back in the 60s. This is on a chat show, obviously, and the crowd really getting into Terry having a sing there. Now listen, we'll try and get some more of your football heroes who can sing on before the end of the show. There's a full championship schedule tonight.
Fullish.
Yes, so there's the game between the Millwall game has been called off because of the virus. To help us preview that, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by what's billed here as the former Luton Town, Bristol City, QPR and Fulham striker. In fact, I would love to read out the full list of his clubs because there's some beautiful names in there. Let's just leave it at those four for now. Big welcome to Tony Thorpe. Hi, Tony.
Hi, guys. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Tony.
Very good indeed. I'll make the point here, Tony. I can see his little face because we're all joined up on Zoom here in the studio. Our producer, while actually looking like he's just about to do his GCSEs, tells me he's a Bristol City fan and watched you banging in the goals, making the old onion bag bulge during your time at Bristol City. He said you're his hero.
Wow.
So that would probably explain why you're here as well as your knowledge. What about these fixtures in the? Well, there's at least one Tony Thorpe derby, isn't there?
There is indeed, yeah. We've got Luton versus Bristol City today. I think both teams are quite inconsistent at the moment, but quite nicely poised for playoffs, I think.
This has been an interesting start so far to the championship because the teams that went down, Norwich at top, Bournemouth a third, Watford, despite the revolving door propelled by a rocket around the manager's office, are in the top five. Of the teams you've seen so far who weren't in the Premier League last year, who's been the best sides in the championship?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked. I did fancy Norwich to do really well this year, and they've slowly kind of worked their way to the top. I fancied Brentford strongly a couple of years ago, and they've just not quite done it. But you can just see them now starting to gain some confidence. So I'd be wary about Brentford this year.
Tony, we just see Tony Pulis been sacked after 45 days.
Amazing.
What's that like as a player? I've just looked at your list of clubs as well, and I think you played for nearly most of the 92. You must have seen some managers come and go. What's that like when it's that short?
Somebody asked me this question a couple of months ago, actually. I had 25 managers in my career.
Brilliant, Tony.
Not really. Tony Pulis being one of them, but I think he lasted just a little bit longer than 45 days when I was at Bristol.
So what's that like when someone comes in, tries to get their message across, you see it isn't working and you see there's trouble and then he's gone and then that's that? Do you, as a squad, do you sort of come together, or does it make you go, oh, who knows what's going on here?
Yeah, a bit of both, really. It's ludicrous. He's only been at Sheffield Wednesday, 5 minutes? I don't even know how many games he had, Tony. But if you're going to bring somebody like that in, who has got the experience at that level, and obviously a real, major experience in the Premier League with Stoke, Tony's been a very, very good manager. It would cause the players to probably be the latter. What is going on? Where is the club going? But they do have to stick together, because when they go out there as a team, Sheffield Wednesday are in a bad position at the moment through all sorts of different circumstances, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch now, being as they've got rid of Tony. I think they've got to stick together, these players, because they're staring relegation in the face if they don't start getting some results.
Tony, Derby County go to Birmingham this afternoon. There's all kinds of strange and wonderful kick-off times. Were they wise to put Wayne Rooney in charge?
Yeah, I think it would have been good. I think if you look at Frank Lampard and Steve Gerrard, they've kind of done really well. Great players in their own right, and now they've gone into management. Maybe Derby felt that Wayne Rooney would pick up the pieces when the manager left and hit the ground running. But it's not that easy, as you're well aware, for ex-top players, and let's face it, Wayne Rooney was world-class, to actually go straight into management. It's totally different. We've heard it so many times. Derby are struggling, just like Sheffield Wednesday. I think the main thing for Wayne this year is to probably stay safe, and then maybe they might be given more resources next year to push on. Who knows?
And two more clubs, I would expect, for various reasons, to have improved, are also deeply in that struggle just above the dotted relegation line. That's Queen's Park Rangers and Nottingham Forest. Do you think either of those are in danger of going down, Tony?
Well, we've said this many a times. That championship is such a tough league. It really is. And looking at it, there's one of 5 or 6 that I look down there. Got some really big clubs in, like you just mentioned, Forest, QPR, Derby, Sheffield Wednesday. You wouldn't expect Wycombe to do that well, although they're trying their best. But the rest of those big teams, that are, majority of them been Premier League clubs, within the last 20 years, they are actually, going to have to look over their shoulders, because it's a tough division and they can easily get drawn into it.
Listen, Tony, it's been an absolute joy to talk to you. Just give me a flavour of some of that almost full programme of championship matches tonight, and a chance for our producer to sit there giggling at you like a fanboy. Thank you very much indeed, Tony Thorpe there. Absolutely. We were talking as well, thank you for these texts that keep coming in, about how little time you spent at a sports event. I mean, this one doesn't really count because they didn't really try and go to the sports fair, but I love the story. Again, the way it's been presented to me, I can't quite see a name. But he or she says, I went to the Henley Regatta in 2010. Woo, there's posh.
Someone's doing all right.
We had 4 Uber VIP passes, and I'm loving the next sentence.
Lovely. Red trousers and everything, yeah.
Each one got us past several velvet ropes, but no one near a sport, until eventually we ended up in a luxury tent that was occupied by a retired general, complete with medals. I mean, that's a day out, isn't it?
I thought they were going to end up in a boat.
Have you got a special pass to the retired general tent? Let me see it. Yeah, what about your mate? You're on the list, yeah? Come in and see the retired general. He's complete with medals, don't worry about that.
I've taken the hit for you here, Danny. You've been having a go at Don Revie's horrible Leeds.
Yeah.
Who Malcolm Cooper's been in touch. Who is Charlie Baker to say Don Revie's horrible Leeds when mentioning the demolition of Southampton in the 70s?
Listen,
it wasn't me, Malcolm. It was Danny Kelly. I'm grassing him up.
Malcolm, you know and I know, anyone who's old enough to remember that, who watched that Leeds United team, unless you supported United at that time, you were universally derided and disliked. I'm going to use the word hated. I hate the word hated about football teams. In fact, the other day, somebody put up on Twitter an old edition of the New Music Express that I used to write for, which we'd done a 70s revival issue. And I'd written a whole page about a horrible Leeds United one. This is 15 years after the event. I'm still sore about it. So, Malcolm, my friend, I understand how it rankles with Leeds fans, but I always quote a man called Steve Tongue, a football journalist who started really the craze for football fanzines with his brilliant magazine Foul, and he used to refer to that team as the Little West Riding Hoods. You're listening to Kelly and Baker on TalkSport.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King, showing every Premier League match live and free in our safe and socially distanced pubs nationwide. Green King, your home of pub sport. 18 plus, drink aware.
Live tonight, Amazon delivers 5 live games. Brighton v Arsenal, Southampton v West Ham, West Brom v Leeds, Burnley v Sheffield United, and Man United v Wolves.
Edison Cavani!
Coverage starts from 5 p.m.
Beautiful!
The Premier League. Live and exclusive. On Amazon Prime Video.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms can spread it. So we need to keep using hand sanitizer in shops. Keep wearing our face coverings on the bus. Keep making space at the school gates. And now we're indoors more, we should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to protect each other and help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.
Today's $1.99 wrap of the day is the barbecue bacon and chicken one. Guaranteed to cause flavour envy. Picture a soft tortilla wrap filled with...
crispy chicken.
Lush, smoky barbecue sauce.
Delicious bacon too, yes please. Today's $1.99 barbecue bacon and chicken one. So big on flavour, everyone will want some. Only at McDonald's. From 11 a.m.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Imagine a day without a fear of crime. Now it's possible with Arasaka Home Security Systems. Feel safe even if you live in the most dangerous parts of Night City. We protected countries, made peace all over the world, and now we will protect your home. Our cyber assassins are waiting for your deadly orders.
Cyberpunk 2077. The future of gaming. Drive supercars, battle corporations, and upgrade your body for life in Night City. Buy your copy today on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia.
Peggy 18.
We're facing the biggest health challenge of our generation, and we've shown that together we're stronger than ever. But to keep making a difference, we need to support each other. If you're a man and you've had coronavirus recently, then you might just have the antibodies to help save lives in your blood plasma. That's why we urgently need men to donate. Giving blood plasma is safe and easy. Be the difference. Search Donate Plasma or call 0300 123 2323 today.
When you need all the latest form and odds on all the sporting action, and you need it fast, you need the Coral Daily Download. Every morning on the TalkSport Breakfast from 6. Get all the latest news and great offers in one essential package, delivered to your ears at the speed of sound. Don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning on the TalkSport Breakfast from 6 on TalkSport with Coral. Automatically set timeouts so that you can take a break when you want to at coral.co.uk. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Sky Channel 0108.
Yeah, the final hour of today's edition of Kelly and Baker. That's right, we're back tomorrow again. We'll be talking about something astonishing that's happening in German football. We'll be talking to the great Ian Stone, you know him as comedian and Arsenal fan on BT as well, about the revival, if that's what it is, at that club and much else besides. That's all after we've had the news and sport headlines from Jake Robson.
Thank you, Danny. Coming up, a warning about hospital bed space and Burnley takeover draws nearer.
Talk Sport.
Good afternoon. A London GP and health campaign says that 4-bed NHS hospital wards are being extended into 6 after a surge in coronavirus cases is putting the service under extreme pressure.
The ambulance service is absolutely overwhelmed. I mean, Boxing Day, apparently, there were 500 calls waiting, many of them Category 2 urgent calls. And one of the issues is the ambulances can't offload patients because there's a lack of beds.
That's Dr. Louise Irvin speaking to Talk Radio as 20,426 people are currently in hospital with COVID-19, and the highest number of positive cases since the pandemic began was recorded yesterday. In his New Year message, the head of NHS England, Sir Simon Stevens, has thanked staff for all their work, but warned we're back in the eye of the storm. Experts are also warning that national coronavirus restrictions are needed to prevent a catastrophe. It's understood we'll find out this afternoon the verdict from a group of Conservative Brexiteers on the new trade deal between the UK and the EU, which was struck on Christmas Eve. It's ahead of a vote by MPs in the Commons tomorrow. It was approved by all 27 EU member states yesterday. And at least one girl has been killed after a strong earthquake hit Croatia. Others have been injured after the 6.4 magnitude tremor hit 30 miles from the capital of Zagreb. Cars and buildings have also been damaged.
Talk Sport weather with QuickFit. Save time and money when you book an MOT service together. Book online at quickfit.com today and drive away happy. Participating centres.
Inland parts dry with sunny spells, but cold. Wintry showers in most coastal areas moving south, dying out though as they do.
Talk Sport Sports Update with Which? Trusted Traders. Let your customers know they're buying from a business they can count on. Enhance your reputation at which.co.uk/trusted traders.
A year to the day since he was reappointed as West Ham boss, Mark Noble has told TalkSport that David Moyes' return so far has been a great success.
If you look at our results, as I say, from lockdown, the end of last season till now, they've been very, very good. And as you say, you know, when someone does well, you always see rumours of a new contract and that, but I'm pretty sure the club will want to keep him here for the next few years.
West Ham travel to Southampton at 6 p.m. this evening, a game you can hear exclusively live on the TalkSport app. Also on the app at that time is Burnley v Sheffield United. Sean Dyche's men have only conceded 2 in their last 4. Keeper Nick Pope has kept 5 clean sheets so far this season, but tells us any talk of a place in goal for England next summer isn't something he's bothered about.
The next time England is that important for me will be March when we meet up. I think concentrating England when it's England time. When I got on the team 3 years ago, what stood me in good stead was really taking it one game at a time and not looking too far ahead.
And the protracted sale of the club Burnley to American investors ALK Capital has been agreed in principle. It's hoped the deal will be completed in the next 48 hours. Remember, there's 5 more Premier League commentaries across the TalkSport network today. You can hear each of them via the TalkSport app.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM, Danny Kelly and Charlie Baker on TalkSport.
Comedian, actor and would-be James Bond. More about that in a few seconds' time. During the course of the next hour, we'll be talking to Kevin Hatchard, our European football expert, about something mad that's happening in German football. Ian Stone, you know him, of course, if you've been around the comedy circuit or see his shows on BT, will join us to talk about Arsenal, much else besides during this final hour. I thought we'd have a little bit of a break. We'll get back to the sport in a second.
Okay, yeah.
Because Charlie and I, we of course, in the preparation, the vast weeks of preparation that went into this show.
Writing the script, all that.
Yeah, all of that stuff that went on, sending it away for corrections and all that. We were discussing what we were doing over the Christmas, and I mentioned something to him about my own sort of free time around Christmas, and he immediately jumped on it. So let me just say that I was talking before that. I should mention that we just had breaking news that the very previously and happily mentioned Ralph Hasenhüttl.
Yeah, we've been singing his praises all day, haven't we?
And saying his lovely name, Ralph Hasenhüttl. He will not be on the bench or in the technical area for Southampton for their home game against West Ham that we were discussing just a few moments ago because a member of his family has tested positive for coronavirus.
Oh, dear.
And so the effect of the pandemic continues in the world of football. We'll see where
Danny,
it
is there any idea in, I don't know if I'm being silly here, is there any idea in having a 2-week break, and in that 2-week break, giving footballers the vaccine? But is that then would there be the question of why are they so special? Why should they get it before anybody else?
I think we've got to be very careful here because we're pressing on the wider question of why are we making these young men go up and down the country? We know why. They've got to fulfil a TV contract, otherwise they're not going to get paid $150,000 a week. I think the football for morale argument, which was so strong when they brought the football back, I'm not sure it's washing with me very much. I mean,
but that's because you're not winning the league. You see, I think this often depends on who you ask. If your team is in the relegation zone, a lot of the time people are going, "Oh yeah, we should just cancel the season, just null and void the season."
Whereas fans don't think that.
From where I'm standing, or if you're Liverpool or Reading, who are doing well at the top of league,
Norwich fan,
Brentford or Norwich, whoever, you're going, we could call the league here. That's fine on points per game or something. So it often does with football fans, as we know, very, very fickle.
I just think the authorities need to keep a very close watch on it. I understand why football is ongoing, and I will take your argument that if you're 144 points clear at the top of the table like Torquay United, then of course you want to crack on with the game. So Ralph Hasenhüttl will not be at the game today. What I said I was doing, I was obsessing about spies over Christmas, watching every spy, partially because John le Carré had died in the run up to Christmas, hadn't he? I was watching every spy film available, good ones, bad ones, etc. And I recommend you the series The Spy with Sacha Baron Cohen. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen that. Is it good?
I think it's a Netflix. It's one of those.
There's so much telly, isn't there? There's more telly than there is football.
Absolutely, but Sacha Baron Cohen is brilliant in this, and it's about. I knew the story, but it's so brilliantly told. I won't do any spoilers at all. Let's just say it was a spy who changed the course of history using some seeds, does that? I recommend that. And then I was reading various books. You mentioned the great Agent Zigzag to me, Ben McIntyre's book.
Agent Zigzag, I always think would be a good name for when they send on a tricky winger with 15 minutes to go. On you go, Agent Zigzag.
That's the great story, I think, of Eddie Chapman, isn't it? Who was a triple agent during the Second World War.
And spoke German, so they sent him across, and then he got caught basically, and then the Germans trained him up in explosives, and then they dropped him back into England, and he joined back up with MI5. MI6,
So he had 3 lots of different training by spy organisations, bless him. And then I was talking about his more recent book, McIntyre, called The Spy and the Traitor, about a man called Oleg Gordievsky, who was a KGB agent who literally, again, spoiler here, but the whole book is so insane. But you could argue that in the 1980s he saved the world from a nuclear holocaust. I'm currently reading a book called A Spy Named Orphan about Donald MacLean. That one's a bit heavier going, if I might be so disrespectful to the author, but does remind us, of course, for a bit of class war here on TalkSport, that nearly every one of the people who betrayed their country was tremendous toffs with nothing better to do with their time. I should mention that, which all led me to the point of saying that if I had my life again, and I've really, I've done lots of things that I really enjoyed. Music journalism, being a football pundit, I love this broadcasting caper. But if I had my choice, I would like to be a spy. Now, given that I'm quite a large presence in the world and cannot keep a secret to save my life, I think I might be a very bad spy, but I would love to be a spy.
But how do we know, Danny, how do we know that you're not a spy? Because this is the sort of thing a spy would say, is that, I'd love to be a spy.
Well, which takes me, I'm sorry, and I will push you further for the new James Bond in a second. But there was one moment when I did something quite spy-y. Back in the day, when I was a single man, I was out on a date with a lady who got tremendously drunk. And as I remember, on the liqueur Tia Maria.
Oh, lovely.
And by the end of the evening, she was virtually standing on a table demanding more Tia bleep bleep Maria. And she then insisted on coming back to my flat. And while most people think this is great, she really was drunk. She was out of her tree, this girl. And so this is why I decided I can't be going through with this. I need to get this lady. I need to talk her off the ledge.
Gentleman, Danny.
I am. And I said, look, I don't want you to get involved with me because I'm a spy. And she went, what?
Fantastic.
I said, I'm a Russian spy. And she said, prove it. And for some reason, and I'll never forget this, forgive me, and people have listened to me for years now, I don't need to make this stuff up, lots of things happen to me. For some reason, weeks beforehand, I had taken a copy of the autobiography of Terry Neal, the Spurs man, the former Spurs and Arsenal manager, and I'd taken a cover off it and put it around a book that I had about the Russian secret services, about Spetsnaz, right, the special forces. I said, go to that bookshelf and take out that book, to the left, green, she was cross-eyed with drink, green cover, pull it out. And so she has this football book, she opens it up, and there are the instructions of how to be a Soviet special agent when the balloon goes up. She believed me. She got a minicab and she went home. This is the
greatest excuse for not getting any I've ever heard, Danny. I really
and believe me, I mean, without getting too laddie about it, it's one of those occasions where I could have.
Exactly.
Except for some reason, I wanted to prove that I was a spy. Now, look,
it must be a difficult world. I always like it when you just see very, very boring people and they've been a spy their whole life. And then you go, how were they a spy? I never even noticed them. Of course. It's not big gobs like me and you, Danny, who they get to be spies.
Well, A, we're not toffs enough, and B, we're far too loudmouthed. I mean, there's a wonderful thing in the book, as The Spy and a Traitor, where they've got the signalling system. It's very tense. Because obviously you're in Moscow, and for every one person you meet, 3 others are KGB agents. So they've got to find this very elaborate way of communicating with each other. I won't spoil it for people about how they did that, but the response was you had to stand in this particular square in front of a cafe and eat an English chocolate bar. But no balloon had gone up for 2 years. So the glove compartments of all the British Embassy cars that the spies drove around in were full of old Kit Kats and old Mars bars. They got slightly white. You know when chocolate goes white, because so they were dreading the day when they had to give their response.
Maybe
what else is in your glove box?
Oh, just food wrappers. That's all it is ever, Danny. Sitting on my own eating. That's all I like doing.
Well, it's more disgraceful now when you have one of those cars that has a little shelf as well. You know, where you kind of put your mobile phone. You're supposed to put your mobile phone and one or two other bits. Of course, now all the absolute crud that used to be in the glove compartment is now on public display.
It's all on show.
And what's worse is I'm now into that miasma of wrappers, crumbs and fluff. I now shove my pandemic mask as well. So by the time I put the mask on, I'm in more danger from my own car than I am from the actual COVID. It's tricky. It's very, very tricky.
I think we could do footballers and spy films. We can take some of those if people want to do those. Footballers spy films is always good fun, isn't it? From Russia with Love. I'm trying to think of one now.
Yeah,
I'll think of one in a minute.
Yeah, From Russia with Gloves. It's the goalkeeping film.
Beautiful,
absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah. And the reason why I keep saying, because those of us who don't see Charlie because he's on the radar, he's quite a regular featured sort of guy. I mean, I put him down as handsome, and I've not been on the Tia Maria. And I think when people are talking, you're exactly the sort. I think we need to miss a generation now and get down the new James Bond. I know it's going to be Idris Elba, or whoever's going to be, or it's been announced, or the lady who plays Doctor Who. But I think it should be Charlie Baker. I'm leaving you with that thought, because coming up next is Kevin Hatchard, who's going to talk to us about two clubs, one of which you will definitely have heard, Schalke 04,
Lovely.
and one of which you might not have heard, Berlin, Tasmania. Ooh. That's coming up next here on what we normally Hawksby and Jacobs, but today and tomorrow is Kelly and Baker. They're not spies.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King. Book now and secure your space at your favourite local on the Green King app, or search Home of Pub Sport. 18 plus drink aware.
Calling all small business owners. The clock is ticking and we're not going into extra time. On the 1st of January 2021, the Brexit transition period will have ended. If you own or operate a small business, this means following new business rules on exports, imports and more. And if you move goods into, out of or through Northern Ireland, you should check what you need to do to prepare. Be ready for business. Use the Brexit Checker tool to find out what your business needs to do. Go to gov.uk/transition.
We know lots of you have been extra busy in your van these days, so you deserve a brand new van from Trust Ford's Great Winter Sale. Now on. Get 0% APR on selected new vans and some help towards your deposit. Or save thousands on nearly new low mileage vans, all ready to drive away today with Trust Ford now. And you can book a half price winter health check, now just $9.99. Trust Board's winter sale, helping keep your business on the road.
The KFC Gravy Double Bucket with Pepsi Max. 6 chicken on the bone, 6 mini fillets or 8 hot wings, popcorn chicken, 4 fries, 4 gravy boats and a large bottle of Pepsi Max for maximum taste, no sugar. So much good stuff. So little time. Now at KFC for only $15.99 at drive-thru, takeaway and delivery. Ends 3rd of January at participating restaurants subject to availability.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread. And you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
Where on the radio can you hear riveting football debates?
Is that donehead or flange rivets?
With nailed-on opinions, from who's letting the side down to who's getting the job done.
They've got some amazing deals in here to get any job done.
I see someone's enjoying the Toolstation catalogue. Get down to the nuts and bolts of the sports stories that really matter.
With a team you can always rely on.
What went wrong Saturday?
Well, they're better than us. Drive, this afternoon from 4 on TalkSport with Toolstation. Tools and more for any task.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Insurance Breakdown Cover. Add it to your car insurance policy and you won't need to worry about keeping moving this winter. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Essex, the M25 clockwise, you've got a broken down car blocking the inside lane of 4 between Waltham Abbey at junction 26 and junction 27 for the M11. In Cheshire, the M6 northbound, there's a lane shut for emergency repairs at the Thelwall Viaduct. That's between junctions 20 and 21. And in Warwickshire at Willoughby, London Road, the A45, that's still shut after flooding. It's closed between Willoughby Village Centre and the High Street at Braunston. I'm Adam Moore.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms can spread it. So we need to keep using hand sanitizer in shops, keep wearing our face coverings on the bus, keep making space at the school gates. And now we're indoors more, we should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to protect each other and help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.
Wednesday is game day. Exclusive full match commentary of
Spurs versus Fulham. Coverage from 5:30. Kickoff at 6 on TalkSport.
Official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
When you done means you bet I felt it. I tried to meet you, but you're so hot that I felt right to the past. And now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool run got out, I'll be giving it my bestest, and nothing's gonna stop me but the violence of it.
Wow. Welcome back to Kelly and Baker.
Who is that, Danny?
On the back of Lenny Slutsky, we're doing Footballers Who Really Can Sing. This is Rory Watson. Nowadays a Scunthorpe, but at his initiation ceremony at Hull, here his teammates suddenly discovered a man really can sing.
I mean, you turn. It's normally done as a sing something badly, isn't it? So we can all laugh at you. But
yeah,
he must have stood up pretty confident with what he's got in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is the initiations. I've got to sing.
Okay.
Have I?
I don't know if I can do that.
There.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Hey, Danny, we've had some footballer spies.
Good on.
From Russia and Love. There we are. I don't think it's going to.
Oh, brilliant!
I don't think it's not going to get any better than that, is it? I don't
brilliant. Who's that from?
And that was people don't put their names on the spy who unloved me. That's the other Mickey. Spies in football. Mata Hari Kane from Ray. That's Ray in West Lothian. And hi lads, how about Dr. No by Styles? That's GW Nobby Styles. There we go.
Yeah, that one is he's taking the joke is square and the hole is round.
But he's had a go, Danny. He's had a go. 8-10-89 will take your spy footballers.
Sorry, I knew you were a very big wheel on the comedy circuit. Having a go, does that really count? And being funny is the trick.
It does on TalkSport. It's fine. There we are. Of course, right. And I've just looked up. Georges Popescu was a government informant. He wasn't an actual spy. So
I'm loving that. Now listen, those of you who don't listen to Trans Europe Express may be gobsmacked what I'm about to tell you next. And don't worry if you don't like German football, because the story has so many great angles. Schalke 04 are the second biggest club in Germany, really. I know Dortmund like to pretend they are, but before Bayern Munich, they were huge. And Schalke are about to be relegated out of the Bundesliga unless something extraordinary happens. They're onto their fourth manager since September, and the manager that turned up the other day, to my astonishment, to my wide-eyed amazement, was none less than the former Tottenham boss, Christian Gross. Yes, he with the tube ticket and the Toblerone in his hands has gone to Schalke. Schalke are also about to break an ancient German record. Look, to give you the whole background to this, who better? Regular, of course, on Trans-Europe Express, regular on the television and radio, European, particularly German football expert, Kevin Hatchard. Hi, Kev.
Good afternoon, chaps. How are we?
Good, thanks, Kevin.
Really, really good. And I know we've talked about this a lot, but the story gets... The new cherry on top of all of this of Christian Gross. Just give us the background here. How big are Schalke? How have they got in this mess? How big a mess is it? And where the hell did they pull Christian Gross out of?
Well, I mean, I would have guessed Christian Bale before I would have guessed Christian Gross. I did not see this coming at all. So how big is Schalke? Well, they're absolutely enormous, as you say. Thousands and thousands of members in Germany, across Germany. It's not just the Ruhr region where they're followed. They're followed all over the country. A club that many moons ago were the dominant force, if you go back into the early 20th century. But they haven't been champions for a long, long time. And they are heavily in debt, 200 million euros of debt. They have bought bad players on a regular basis. But it wasn't that long ago that they were in the Champions League in the knockout phase. And it wasn't that long ago they were second in the Bundesliga. But they've made some really bad coaching appointments. The players have lost confidence completely. And they've now gone 29 games in the Bundesliga without a win. Now, that's 5 short of an entire season. The record winless run in the Bundesliga is held by a club called Tasmania Berlin. Now,
hold the bus. Tasmania Berlin. How did they get to be called Tasmania Berlin?
That's a very, very good question, actually, which I need to dig out. Why are they called Tasmania?
You carry on. I'll Google them. You carry on.
Thank you.
But the thing that's really interesting about them, and I hadn't twigged this for a while, and I was doing a Schalke game earlier in the season and had a look at them. Now, this isn't any ordinary team. This is a team that was an amateur team, and 2 weeks before the season was due to start, back in the 60s, Hertha Berlin were refused a licence. And so Tasmania, because it was regional, the Bundesliga at one stage, you had kind of regional representatives at national level, they were parachuted in. So there was a reason why they lost 31 in a row, because they were hopeless and they shouldn't have been there. But Schalke, if they overtake that is extraordinary. And Tasmania don't want them to do it, because the only reason anybody ever talks about Tasmania Berlin is because they have the record for the most games without a win in the Bundesliga. So they're about to...
I mean, their chairman has come out and made it very public that he wants Schalke to get a win. And they very nearly did a couple of weeks ago, but in extraordinary circumstances, they blew even that, didn't they?
Well, Danny, that kind of epitomises what's going on with them right now, because Augsburg they were away to, and Augsburg, a decent team but fairly modest, and they had 10 men. Augsburg in the second half, Schalke had the advantage, led 2-1, and the fear crept into them, and they just stopped playing. And when they were going forward, they looked quite good. Then they just stopped and eventually conceded a stoppage time equaliser. So they brought in Christian Gross, and on the face of it, this looks absolutely crazy to have done this. But there is a link. So Jochen Schneider, who is the head of sport there, who is absolutely on his last life. I mean, he's worked through 8 of these lives. I think he's got 1 left. He worked with Gross back at Stuttgart, and he led Stuttgart to 6th when they worked together, and so he genuinely believes Gross, who's 66 now, can come in and drag the team out of trouble. But they're rock bottom. They're not cut adrift. I mean, if they've got 2 or 3 wins early in the year, maybe they could get back in touch and have a decent chance of survival. But it's a big, big risk they're taking.
It seems they're minus 28 goal difference. That seems to be the main problem. They can't stop letting goals in. Danny, what are your recollections of Christian Gross? Is he going to lock up that defence?
Do you know what? He came and went in. I mean, not compared. I mean, obviously, he was there longer than Jacques Santini, who came and went in the bat of an eye. Christian's teams, I don't remember them doing very, very much. Indeed, I mean, the problem, as Kevin will point out, is that they've got players who on paper, good players like Nabil Bentaleb, but who are just not doing anything for them. Kevin, thank you for giving us the outline there. And I, for one, nothing against Schalke. I almost want them to win the game so that Tasmania can continue to hold that record. Thank you very much to Kevin Hatchard.
I have no update on why they're Tasmania, Danny. I have no.
But I've got an update on footballers who are spies.
Okay, go on.
And he played for Tottenham. Gica Popescu was a spy for the dreaded and feared Romanian secret services during his time as a youth. Let me just get this absolutely right. He was at the Securitate, the secret police, before he joined Steaua Bucharest. He's had a pretty eventful life, as well as playing for Spurs and Barcelona, the two, of course, best clubs in the world, you could argue. In more recent times, you could. In more recent times, and perhaps his spy background didn't help him here, he was convicted in a Romanian court for money laundering and tax evasion, and I think has just been released from the 3 years that he got in jail. Gica Popescu, everyone, footballer and spy.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King, showing every Premier League match live and free in our safe and socially distanced pubs nationwide. Green King, your home of pub sport. 18 plus, drink aware.
Hi, just dropping off a few presents for the kids.
A few? It's doorbell season, so get ready for all the festive deliveries coming your way with a Ring Video Doorbell.
Delivery, got a big one today.
Oh, great. Can you leave it around the back, please?
Ring lets you see, hear and speak to whoever's at your door from anywhere, right from your phone.
Hey, we just bought you a few things.
Be there for every moment with a Ring Video Doorbell. For great festive savings on selected devices, go to ring.com and major retailers today.
Whether it's getting back into work, thinking about a different job, or helping you improve your CV, we can help you make a new start. Visit gov.uk/jobhelp. A good place to start.
Live tonight, Amazon delivers 5 live games. Brighton v Arsenal, Southampton v West Ham, West Brom v Leeds, Burnley v Sheffield United, and Man United v Wolves.
Edison Cavani!
Coverage starts from 5 p.m.
Beautiful!
The Premier League. Live and exclusive. On Amazon Prime Video.
10, 9, 8.
Come on, pick up the pace a bit.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And let's bring on New Year's Day right now. Because there's an incredible 10 UK millionaires guaranteed with Euro Millions on Friday the 1st of January. And that, my friends, really is dream come true money. Get the new year off to a dream start with Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Play on app, online and in-store. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
Whether it's getting back into work, thinking about a different job, or helping you improve your CV, we can help you make a new start. Visit gov.uk/jobhelp. A good place to start.
Hear the biggest sports stories first and fast with the Backpage Review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Listen to TalkSport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 for the latest breaking Backpage news, plus unbeatable reaction, opinion and comment.
Hold the Backpage.
Get everything you need to know delivered in one essential, reliable breakfast briefing. The Backpage Review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Small businesses can save up to 40% on their phone bills. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
TalkSport. Sports headlines. With Bostik, a leading brand in tiling for over 130 years. For high-performance tile adhesives and grouts you can rely on, trust Bostik.
Yeah, when we come back in a few seconds, we'll be discussing 2 games, given they were both draws at the weekend. That caused plenty of controversy. Tottenham and Wolves and West Brom at Liverpool. First, though, it's time for the sports headlines here on TalkSport with Jake Robson.
Positive coronavirus tests are causing yet more disruption to Premier League clubs this afternoon. Earlier, 18 of them were revealed, the highest figure of the season so far. Sheffield United have now said a number of those are Blades players ahead of their trip tonight to Burnley. Meanwhile, Ralph Hasenhüttl is to miss Southampton's game at home to West Ham. He's having to self-isolate after a member of his household tested positive. It means he'll take charge via a video link from home. This all comes after Manchester City's game away at Everton was called off yesterday following an outbreak of COVID-19 in Pep Guardiola's squad. In other news, Jose Mourinho says Gareth Bale will be out for a few weeks with a calf injury. He came off at half-time in the Carabao Cup win against Stoke, having scored Tottenham's opener. And in rugby union, Wales forward Jake Ball is to quit the international game when he leaves Scarlets at the end of this season. He's going to be with his family in Australia, saying he still hasn't met his baby son, who was born out there last month. Welsh players who have 60 caps or fewer can't play in internationals if they play for a club outside of the country. He's only on 49.
Hawksby and Jacobs, clips of the year on Talk Sport. Paul and Andy serve up the biggest blunders, bloopers, glitches and gaffes from another year of Talk Sport broadcasting excellence.
Apparently this show's much better when it all goes wrong. What a surprise that is.
New Year's Eve from 9 p.m. on Talk Sport.
Yeah, you're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport in partnership with Green King. Download the Season Ticket app for all the upcoming fixtures and play the Predictor to win exclusive discounts. Yeah, you're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs, though it's me, Danny Kelly, and of course Charlie Baker. I haven't worked with Charlie for quite a while, really enjoying it. We're going to get a chance to do it all again tomorrow, despite public demand, as they say. Now it's time to look back at the weekend's top sporting events with Renault Vans.
On TalkSport with Renault Pro Plus electric vans. With the widest range in the UK, Renault have an electric van that's perfect for every business. Explore the entire range now at renault.co.uk/vans.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where let me get some gaffer tape and strap myself into the chair here in case I spontaneously combust and shoot myself into outer space. The first thing I've been asked to discuss is the 1-1 draw at Molineux between Wolves and Spurs. So I'm going to start by asking you a question, Charlie. What do you think, Charlie Baker, about the way Tottenham Hotspur set themselves up and play these days?
It's such a shame, isn't it? It's such a shame because you should be celebrating Spurs' form and how well they're playing, and you should be celebrating all the great games you've played so far, and that you've got a brilliant forward line in Kane and Son, and how exciting that is, how brilliant they are up front, when turning into one of the great partnerships we've had in recent years. And yet but it's dull, isn't it, Danny? It's boring, and you're playing someone like Wolves there, who, when they've got a full-strength squad out, and unfortunately, through injury, they've lost their best player, but they're an exciting side to watch. They are playing in every way that Spurs fans want Spurs to play, and yet you're having a good season, Danny. I keep having to tell you. I keep having to tell Man United fans and Tottenham fans, you're having a good season.
Well, not compared to Torquay United, we're not, but... look, I'm going to get this off my chest very briefly. I remember the day that they sacked Pochettino, appointed Mourinho. I was here on TalkSport on Drive. Jamie O'Hara, colleague, so let's not go on to him, was saying this was a great idea. And I remember a big tear rolling down my fat space hopper head, saying, I just don't want Mourinho. I don't like it. I don't like the way he's become as a bloke. And no amount of lilac tracksuits can get me away from the fact that he's poisoned the last 3 clubs he's been at. And you can see the start of it here now. And of course, I get it. When they got decent results against Arsenal and Manchester City, playing with 10 behind the ball and playing on the break, everyone was delighted with themselves. But I kept saying on TalkSport, this can't keep up. In the modern game, if you camp out on the edge of your own box, a combination of VAR and other things means you're always one mistake away from a catastrophe. Spurs have they've dropped so many points from being in the lead because they just dropped back to the edge of their box, and the goals are coming so late they don't get a chance to do anything about them, to change tack. The goals against West Ham that everyone remembers, which of course is what's forced Mourinho to go on the defensive. It can't go on like that. And the great thing, Charlie, for him is, of course, there's no crowds. If you had 68,000 in that new blinking space station there on the Tottenham High Road, the players would be under extraordinary pressure not to just sit back on the edge of their own box and, frankly, wait to be killed by the opposition.
But was it ever thus with him, with Mourinho? Did he always play like this? Because you speak to Man United fans who wanted him out pretty quick as well, and he won them trophies. They won trophies with him, and yet they didn't want him. Is it just that style of football?
He had one really good attacking team, and that was the first title-winning team at Chelsea with Damien Duff and Ian Robben and Joe Cole.
Sure. Wingers,
They really were a beautiful team to watch. After that, he worked out that the way to extend his winning runs was to be defensive. That Inter Milan team, that was, in my opinion, along with the Porto, but the Inter Milan team that won the Champions League, was an amazing achievement, but it was largely a bunch of South American dogs of war, absolutely defying people to play the game around them. We won't. I don't need more room to go on about it.
Well, I suppose the question that people ask always, I ask this of Newcastle fans quite a lot as well, which is, what is it you want? Newcastle were 11th. That's probably about their level at the moment, but because they're not enjoying the football, then they don't want the manager. And so I suppose with Spurs, it's, you are pushing for it. Put a couple of results together again, and you can be pushing for the title again. What is it you want?
I think you can combine playing excellent, particularly given the forward power Spurs have. You can combine playing excellent football with winning football matches, and you see where that takes you.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be paying, and some people at the new Spurs Stadium are paying over £100 to watch what, let's be fair, you or I could put out 10 dustbins on the edge of the box, say, go on then, try and beat us.
Don't know, I'm not sure it's that easy.
Much the same. I think it is that easy. In fact, I think it's easier. I think the dustbins virtually put themselves out. Who's putting out the bins today? But of course, we've seen the same tactic employed at Anfield against the all-powerful Liverpool team, and people are full of joy.
So what's the difference here? For West Brom, it must be a case of
West
expectation.
Brom don't have Son, Kane, Bale, etc.
But it's a case of expectation, isn't it? Lob enough balls in the box and lob it into the right areas, and eventually something will happen. That's the tactic, isn't it? Whereas, why do Liverpool find it so difficult to play against that?
I guess because, as I say, if you put the dustbins deep enough, you make it very difficult for teams that want to play. They're not allowing them to be pressed. West Brom didn't allow themselves to be pressed because they didn't try to pass through Liverpool's midfield, which is where the press is so effective, and why, of course, Klopp is so mad keen to get more substitutes in, because it wears players out doing the pressing. Sam Allardyce is a different kettle of fish to Mourinho. Sam Allardyce makes no pretense about what he's going to do, and of course he has employed players like JJ Kocher over the years.
He has, yeah.
But in terms of defending, he says, we'll get ourselves into our lines, and he has what he calls the no-nonsense zone, where he gets the ball out of there quick. And you're right, some of it is pure arrogance of expectation. I expect Spurs to be beautiful and to win. West Bromwich Albion fans at the present moment, in their present situation, will accept ugliness and what was, let's be fair, a great result. Those were the highlights, I use that word advisedly, from the weekend's top sporting events with Renault electric vans. Head to renault.co.uk/vans, ready for everything.
Ready for anything on TalkSport with Renault Pro Plus electric vans. With the widest range in the UK, Renault have an electric van that's perfect for every business. Explore the entire range now at renault.co.uk/vans.
Got any more spies there,
Hundreds
Charlie?
of spies we got here, Danny.
Do many spies for you,
Alan
please.
Lewis in Belfast gives us Tinker Tailor Solskjaer spy. We'll take that. That's pretty good. That's a good fun, isn't it?
We should be generous.
Mark, the Ipswich fan, gives us Live and Let Die, which is, we've had a few of those, but very nice. Diamonds Are Forever. That's beautiful, from Paul in Derby. There we are.
And of course, that's a double for us, isn't it? That is a spy film involving Patricio, who's also a fantastic singer. If you look at he's an amazing singer. So all good.
This is Steve the Saint. I've just read Alan Brazil's book, which is available in the TalkSport shop, Danny, I should say, signed and unsigned.
I've heard that.
The rare unsigned ones. I've just read Alan Brazil's book, Only Here for a Visit, and in it he makes reference to ex-Spurs teammate Tony Galvin being a communist, and jokingly makes reference to him reporting to the KGB.
Tony, of course, was a really fantastic player for the Republic of Ireland and Tottenham for years and years and years, unsung. And this is based, of course, on the fact that Tony had A, read a book, and B, been to university and spoke Russian.
Oh, well, the professor,
one of the very first players in the early 80s, Tony had been to university, had a degree, and spoke Russian.
Oh, here's the other one. Here's the last one. I think this is the last word on it. Al in Inkpen, which I think is in Oxfordshire. Is Inkpen in Oxfordshire? I think so. Oxfordshire or
it might be near Wells.
Never say Neves again. He's given us a long list. Very good. Golden Are You? Very nice. Casino Joe Royale.
These are the James Bond ones. Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
The Man with the Golden Brian Gun. A View to a Kylian Mbappe. The World Cup is Not Enough. And Quantum of Sol Campbell. Very nice. Thank you, Al.
What was that fella called?
That was Al in Inkpen.
Al in Inkpen. But find out where Inkpen is, because that sounds so wonderful. Let me just tell you then as well, of course we will be ending today's show by talking about the game that Arsenal have got this evening, but with lots of Ian Stone, of course, from BT and the comedy circuit, but lots of games on TalkSport today, almost as soon as we finish, really. Let me just go through them one more time for you so you don't miss anything. TalkSport here, 6 o'clock, Brighton against Arsenal in the Premier League. TalkSport 2 at the same time, West Bromwich Albion, seeing what Big Sam can do against... we'll talk about Clash of Styles. West Brom play Leeds. So it's Big Sam against Bielsa. Should be a great game. That's over on TalkSport 2. On the TalkSport 2 app at 6 o'clock near Southampton against West Ham. Don't forget, we just heard the news that Ralph Hasenhüttl, and we love saying his name, will not be on the bench. One of his family has contracted COVID. And all we can say about all these people getting the COVID, we know that by and large it's been very old people who have suffered from it, but we're now getting to hear about long COVID and all this. We just wish all these footballers and their families that they keep safe and keep well in all of this. That's on the TalkSport app. Also on the TalkSport app, 6 o'clock kickoff between, Burnley and Sheffield United towards the lower part of the division, I should say. Sheffield United having a terrible start terrible season so far.
Yeah.
And then, here on TalkSport itself, exclusive to TalkSport, live radio commentary of perhaps the biggest game of the day when Manchester United take on Wolves at Old Trafford. Join Hugh Wozencroft and you'll get commentary from Sam Matterface, Trevor Sinclair. All of that means that you can be on TalkSport, TalkSport 2 and the TalkSport app and never miss a kick, because this is your home of live football.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King. Book now and secure your space at your favourite local on the Green King app or search Home of Pub Sport. 18 plus drink aware.
Jen's new smart speaker should be teaching her to cook a chicken, but it's not, because her Wi-Fi doesn't reach the kitchen, so she's winging it. Busan Le Ceiling is served. Oh, why, Jen? Why buy the best home tech if your Wi-Fi won't support it? Well, with BT Complete Wi-Fi, that bird can still be basted. Only BT gives you reliable Wi-Fi in every room or a £100 money-back guarantee. Why choose anyone else? BT, beyond limits.
Up to 3 discs to guarantee 10 Mbps in every room or £100 off your next bill. Terms apply.
This is an important message about New Year's Eve. Around 1 in 3 people who have COVID-19 have no symptoms and will be spreading it without realizing. And now there is a new strain of the virus which spreads even faster. To protect each other and help stop the spread, you must not meet up with friends or family indoors unless they are in your household or support bubble. Avoid large gatherings of any kind. Let's see the new year in safely at home. Find all local restrictions and laws at gov.uk/coronavirus.
Hey mate, it's me, your hunch. I gotta say, nothing feels as good as scoring big on Betway's 4 to score. 1 or 2 goals feel like this. 3 like this. But picking the first goal scorer in 4 selected matches sounds great. Heed your hunch with Betway's 4 to score for a free chance to win £50,000.
UK and Ireland customers only. Selections must be submitted before kick-off of the first eligible match. Where there's more than one winner, main prize will be divided. Full terms apply. 18 plus. BeGambleWare.org.
Today's $1.99 wrap of the day is the barbecue bacon and chicken one. Guaranteed to cause flavour envy. Picture a soft tortilla wrap filled with...
crispy chicken.
Lush, smoky barbecue sauce.
Delicious bacon too, yes please. Today's $1.99 barbecue bacon and chicken one. So big on flavour, everyone will want some. Only at McDonald's. from 11 a.m.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread, and you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
TalkSport Breakfast in partnership with Arnold Clark. Ultra smooth, seamless transmission between high-revving team talk and big club exclusives, with super celebrity sports guests as standard. Plus, more goal talk to the gallon guarantee.
It's a thunderous belter!
Feel the driving force of the turbocharged TalkSport Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on TalkSport with Arnold Clark. Reserve your next car online with only a £99 deposit.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Business Insurance. We'll help you find the right cover for your business. From plumbers and electricians to landlord or taxi insurance. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Lancashire, the M6 northbound, you've got a lane blocked by a broken down vehicle between junction 31A at Longridge and junction 32 for the Broughton interchange. In Merseyside, in Liverpool, the Kingsway Tunnel, the A59, that's blocked westbound by a broken down vehicle. And in Warwickshire at Willoughby, London Road, the A45, that remains closed after flooding. It's shut in both directions between Willoughby Village Centre and the High Street at Braunston. I'm Adam Moore.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms can spread it. So we need to keep washing our hands when we get to work, keep wearing our face coverings in shops, keep making space when we're out and about.
Morning.
And now we're indoors more, we should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to protect each other and help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.
This is what real sport sounds like.
That's a wonderful finish! The comeback is on!
This is TalkSport.
Trossard flicks in a good cross up towards Webster. Welbeck! Danny Welbeck with the equaliser for Brighton, and heartbreak for Sheffield United.
Whether it's a concern or not, doesn't matter. We have to keep working, try to keep moving forward, keep sticking together, keep fighting. That's what we have to do.
And the cross in goes in off the far post from Bukayo Saka. Well, if he meant that, he is an absolute genius. What about this for a scoreline? Arsenal 3, Chelsea 0.
Hopefully this is going to give us more confidence that we can pick up results and we can grind wins away.
Yeah, welcome back to the final section of today's edition of Kelly and Baker with me, Danny Kelly and Charlie Baker. Coming up next after us, it's Drive with Adrian Durham and Jamie O'Hara. And then at 6 o'clock here on TalkSport, you can hear live commentary of the game that little package was previewing. Arsenal go to Brighton.
He meant it, Dan. He meant that goal. Of course he meant it. Why would he claim it if he didn't mean it, honestly?
You can join Nigel Adderley and Tony Cascarino full commentary of that game, Brighton against Arsenal. To help us preview that, I better give you the background story to this. Ian Stone, of course, is a stalwart of the British comedy scene and therefore, I'm sure, a great mate of Charlie's. He also was one of my very first colleagues when they launched BT Television, the football section there. I had a show and Ian had a show. Here we are many years later. I'm long since sacked, and Ian is still very much there, which either tells me that he's very, very talented or he works very, very cheaply. The further background to this is that Ian only gets asked to come on radio and television programmes to talk about Arsenal when they've had yet another bump in the road in what was their hilariously poor start to the season. But his agent is a smart cookie and told us that in order for him to come on the last time we requested that, he said the next time that Arsenal do well, you have to get Ian Stone on. Well, following that fantastic Trossicking of Chelsea, and in the preview of the game on the South Coast tonight, I'd like to say that Ian joins us now. Good afternoon, Ian.
Good afternoon. Nice to speak to you, chaps.
Thank you very much indeed. And I can hear, is it possible to hear a spring in someone's step?
Well, you know what? It has been quite a long time, the beginning of November, since we last won a game that wasn't against, I don't know, the fourth best team in Ireland or whatever. So it's, and I'm not having a go at Dundalk. It was lovely.
That is unfair. Dundalk are a really good team, Irish-wise, and recent winners of the Irish Cup.
You know what? This is exactly the sort of conversation. Oh no, Dundalk are really good. You did really well to beat them with your rubbish team. So yeah, but anyway, we haven't won a league game since Manchester United. I only think we should play top 6 teams from now on. We seem to do better against them.
Well, let's talk about that, because all right, you've endured a pretty torrid start to the season. But if you are going to come back to form, to whack Chelsea out of sight, how much joy was that?
Well. Do you know what? We have a good record against, particularly against Frank Lampard's Chelsea. So I wasn't completely lost. I didn't have no hope at all. But we've been on a terrible, terrible run. But you know what he did? He played the kids. He brought Martinelli in, who we're all genuinely excited about. Saka has been our player of the season, not this particularly high bar. And Emile Smith-Rowe as well came in and did very well. And it's nice to see the guys, the young guys, getting a chance, as opposed to some of the rejects from Chelsea, say Willian comes to mind. But
at least you're not paying him much money. Oh, hang on.
That one upset us a lot, to be honest with you. I mean, I really liked watching him play for Chelsea. He's a good player, but he hasn't done much for us. So it's nice to see some of the young guys come in. And I agree with what Saka said. I think he meant it. I mean, I think the kid's a genius. I genuinely do. I love watching him play. Got a little bit of Liam.
If he did really, and I agree with you, he's been their best player, he's been Arsenal's best player this season, but if he meant that, he'll be off to Barcelona in January, trust me. Except, of course, Ian, they haven't got 2 planks to rub together. They've got no money, so you're safe enough. Yeah. Well, where do you stand on? I mean, obviously, ever since we had that rather bitter last 18 months of Arsene Wenger's reign, and the banners and particular hashtags Arsene in, Arsene out, is Arteta showing you enough stuff at the moment for you to believe? I'm not saying you should get rid of him or anything, but is he showing enough to make you think that he can make that transition from coach to manager that all people have to do when they make that step up?
It's a complex question, Danny, to be honest with you.
That is unusual from me, I'll be honest. Go on.
Yeah. No, what's interesting about it, I suppose, is that we shouldn't forget that 4 months ago we won the FA Cup, beating Liverpool, luckily, in a league game, and then Man City and Chelsea in the semi-final and final. And all was joy and sweetness and light. And now, 4 months later, it's not. I think the guy needs a few transfer windows. Let's also remember that he spent £50 million on Thomas Partey, and we've seen about 10 minutes of him. Yeah. One time when he was limping off, when 4 Tottenham players were running towards our goal, and Arteta sent him back on.
That's my screensaver, Ian.
Yeah, I can imagine you enjoyed that moment. We do get caught upfield a bit too often, I have to say, and we have done.
But at least you get upfield, unlike my mob. At least you're getting upfield.
Well, you have different problems, let's say, to us.
Isn't rushing Thomas Partey back, though, like an illustration of some of the bad managerial decisions that Arteta has made in the fact that he's rushed him back, and that shows inexperience? There's no doubt he has made some bad decisions, and it's a lot easier to manage from the sidelines, which is why I'm an excellent manager, as long as I'm not actually managing the team. And you know, we all could see that it was a mistake, especially when he limped off. But needs must. We do not have a lot of central midfield choice, let's say. And I mean, Granit Xhaka came back and scored a goal. He's a hard guy to like, isn't he? I mean, even from an outside point of view.
I haven't tried, but I know what you mean.
No, but we are struggling a little bit. But I'm inclined, and I think more importantly, the club are inclined to give him a bit more of a go, because you know, we've changed managers 3 times in the last 18 months, and it doesn't seem to be getting better, does it?
We've got Brighton tonight, so you're coming off the back of a good result of the weekend, and you've got Brighton tonight, who in many ways are like an Arsenal tribute act, aren't they? They've brought someone in to try and change the club from top to bottom, trying to get the ball on the deck and play the right way. So, really should beat them because you've obviously got better players in each position. So that's a definite loss for Arsenal tonight.
Yeah, well, that's the point, isn't it? They beat us twice last year. They beat us pre-lockdown in November, which I think was one of the worst performances. I think it might have been the last game for Unai Emery, and that was a bad night. And then they beat us one of the first couple of games out of lockdown when Mopé injured our goalkeeper, and we managed to add £20 million to Martinez's value in about 4 weeks. So thanks, Mopé, for that. But we do have a bit of a problem playing them, but I'd be a bit disappointed without a win, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I was disappointed 7 times in the last 2 months. So,
well, Ian, listen, A, it's great to talk to you again. B, your agent is brilliant and making us fulfil our contractual obligations to get you on the back of an Arsenal victory. Good luck tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers, Tony.
Thank you. See ya.
If they lose, we have to get him on tomorrow, Danny, if they lose.
Straight on.
Be a different person, it'll be,
top of the show. I say 2 minutes past 1, he's on. Ian Stone there, thank you very much to him for joining us here on what was really, let's be honest, the last knockings of Kelly and Baker with me, Danny Kelly and Charlie Baker. I've really enjoyed it. I can see from the look on Charlie's face, he's an absolute blast, maybe the highlight of his career.
Always the high
and so
point.
We're going to do it again tomorrow. You can join us at 1 for Kelly and Baker again. Coming up next here, it's Drive with Adrian Durham and Jamie O'Hara. And after that, of course, live football here on TalkSport, where between TalkSport 2 and the app, you can hear all of tonight's Premier League games on the home of your live football. So thank you very much for listening to us. Carry on spying. God bless you all and good evening.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Green King, showing every Premier League match live and free in our safe and socially distanced pubs nationwide. Green King, your home of pub sport. 18 plus, drink aware.
The Vodafone Big Winter Sale is now on. Save £242 on the Google Pixel 5 5G. Now only £38 per month plus £29 up front with 6 gigabytes of data. Switch to the UK's best network as voted by readers of trusted reviews. Ready? Vodafone.
CPI plus 3.9% increase each April, ends 7th of January. Minimum term agreement, credit check and terms apply. 5G subject to coverage. Saving info and award verification at vodafone.co.uk.
There once was a woman who craved Kentucky Fried Chicken. She wanted it so much, but her sofa was so comfy and her house was so cosy. Luckily, she'd just heard on the radio that KFC deliver, so she ordered chicken to that very sofa. The end. Participating restaurants only.
It's been a rollercoaster of a year for the construction industry, but we're doing all right. Looking at the finances, the numbers really tell a story, and it's easy to see with Xero accounting software. I've been using them since I set the business up. I can manage my accounting and send quotes and invoices straight from my phone, which is really convenient for me as I'm often out on site. Xero really does help us businesses, and they've even given me this chance on the radio. Hi, I'm Ben Timmins, and I'm from KMR Construction.
Manage your accounts easily with Xero. Visit xero.com.
So I called me mate Tom and I said, I'm waiting for me Chinese to be delivered. What are you up to? And he said,
I'm waiting for me car to be delivered from Cinch.
I said, oh, Cinch. And he said,
yeah, Cinch. Like you said, Cinch lets you buy a quality check used car online with a 14-day money-back guarantee.
And I said, delivery included right to your door.
Yeah.
Oh, speak of the devil. That's my lemon pepper chicken. And he said,
nah, that's my tasty motor.
You're in the driving seat now, Britain. Cinch. Cars without the faff. UK mainland delivery only, T's and C's apply.
You may be in contact with more people over the holidays, so it's critical we watch out for COVID-19 symptoms. Here's Dr. Karim.
Remember the signs of COVID-19, a high temperature or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste or a new continuous cough. If you have any of these, even if you are feeling okay, you must isolate at home to stop the spread. And you must book a test immediately. You can book a test as normal throughout the festive season. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
I'm Adrian Durham, Jamie O'Hara with me for a couple of hours. It's a shorter drive because we've got live football coming up at 6. All 4 6 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League are available on the TalkSport network. We will tell you more as the show goes on. We are going to be talking about Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. We'll reflect on that. We're going to look at Diego Costa, who's now a free agent. Who wants him? We'll build up to tonight's football as well. We've got a COVID updates, all sorts of stuff going on. We're going to start with this question. They meet on Saturday live on TalkSport as Spurs take on Leeds. But who would you rather have in charge? Bielsa or Mourinho? 08717223344 is the number to call if you want to join us. After the news and sport with Jake Robson.
Thank you, Adrian. Coming up, a warning about hospital bed space and more Premier League players self-isolating.
TalkSport.
Good afternoon. Pressure is growing for the expansion of the toughest coronavirus restrictions in the face of increasing strain on hospitals in England, where the number of patients has surpassed the April peak of the first wave. Health Secretary Matt Hancock is due to announce any changes to tier areas in a statement tomorrow. An expert advisor of the government says national coronavirus restrictions are needed to prevent a catastrophe amid rising infections. Danny Mortimer is the chief executive of the NHS Foundation. He says that bed space is now being reduced in hospitals because of social distancing, and the Nightingale hospitals can't help either.
The key point, of course, is that we don't have Nightingale staff. We have to take our existing workforce and just spread them more thinly. And at the moment, the call that's being made is to concentrate the people that we have got available in the core NHS institutions.
It comes as Margaret Keenan, the world's first patient to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine outside a clinical trial, has received her second dose. But scientists say 2 million people need to get the vaccine every week to avoid a third wave. Finally, a group of influential Conservative Brexiteers have shown their support for the UK and EU trade deal, which was stuck on Christmas Eve. The European Research Group says the agreement preserves the UK's sovereignty as a matter of law. MPs will vote on the deal in the Commons tomorrow.
Talk Sport Weather
with QuickFit. Book your MOT today with the UK's #1 MOT tester. Find your nearest centre and book online at quickfit.com and drive away happy. Participating centres.
Wintry showers in the north and west tonight with further snow in the far north. Most inland areas staying dry though. Clear spells but frosty. Ice and freezing fog patches as well.
TalkSport Sports Update with Which Trusted Traders. Stand out from the crowd. Give your business the recognition it deserves. Sign up now at which.co.uk/trusted traders.
More disruption to Premier League clubs this afternoon following positive coronavirus tests. Earlier, 18 of them were revealed. That's the highest figure of the season so far. Sheffield United now say a number of those are Blades players ahead of tonight's trip to Burnley. Meanwhile, Ralph Hasenhüttl will miss Southampton's game at home to West Ham as he becomes one of the latest to have to self-isolate after a member of his household tested positive. He'll take charge via a video link from home. It follows Man City's game at Everton being called off yesterday following an outbreak in Pep Guardiola's squad. Ahead of tonight's game at home to Arsenal, though, some fighting talk from Brighton.
We've beaten them before and we've shown we can beat them. Like, if you look at Arsenal, we beat them the last time we played them at home, and hopefully we can do it again this time. So Arsenal are in a tough period at the club at the moment, but hopefully we can use that against them.
That's skipper Lewis Dunk as the teams meet later with just one place separating them in the table. Brighton Arsenal is exclusively live to TalkSport at 6. Also at that time on TalkSport 2 is West Brom Leeds. Sam Allardyce's men 19th, 5 points from safety, but Darnell Furlong was bullish when speaking to TalkSport.
I don't think there's any point in us being here and being available for selection if we don't believe it. I mean, I definitely believe it, and I know all the boys in the dressing room do. Just how we believed last year that we could get promoted, we believe that we could stay in the league this year.
Remember, there's 5 Premier League commentaries across the TalkSport network this evening. You can hear each of them via the TalkSport app.
Drive with Adrian Durham and Jamie O'Hara on TalkSport.
On the 404 on Drive, the ridiculous Frank Lampard hate campaign goes on. Who wants Diego Costa? And we build up to a big night of football on TalkSport.
But first, who would you rather have in charge, Bielsa or Mourinho? It's Drive on TalkSport.
The 4 at 4 on Drive on TalkSport. Number 1.
But there were still certain segments of the Spurs fan club that wouldn't want to watch what they're seeing now.
He knows that he cannot play open, expensive football because they're not good enough defensively.
I really enjoy watching Leeds, and I think they do have an effect on teams. And I think there's more to come with Bielsa and Leeds further down the line.
They meet live on TalkSport on Saturday. Which manager would you rather have, Bielsa or Mourinho? 08717223344.
Number 2.
We created enough to win the game. Some really good play, really good possession against a good team. We're in really good form. No team's going to find it easy against Villa this year, but we played well.
Yeah, at 4:45, another bad result for Chelsea, but Dean Smith, for me, manager of the season.
Number 3.
Might come through. Diego Costa at the back post after being left by Matic, and he slams it in.
Diego Costa finishes off a classic breakaway.
After 5, we'll ask who wants free agent Diego Costa.
Number 4.
Into Fernandes, inside the area. Fernandes low under the goalkeeper and in, and Manchester United are in front.
And surely Arsenal have ended their long winless streak in the Premier League.
Bamford's got an opportunity at the other end, and Patrick Bamford scores for Leeds United.
Yeah, and we build up to a big night of football on the TalkSport network. This is Drive on TalkSport.
Do you want to know what Jamie O'Hara's been doing all afternoon?
Go on.
Listening to what kind of music?
Marbella anthems. When you said we've got a music theme of Marbella songs, my whole world just lit up. It just brought back so many memories.
Was it a bit? What we're trying to do with this, needed some music to try and lift the spirits, but it might go the other way because suddenly people started talking about, I can't wait to go on holiday, and it might be a little while yet. But
to be fair, I texted the missus and said, I've got a music theme, Marbella, send us, and she sent me a couple, and straight her message after that was, God, I miss summer.
Oh. We'll get there. We will get there. Let's hope it's sooner rather than later. But we are going to be playing some Marbella bangers, is that it?
Marbella bangers, yeah.
You having that?
Marbella sessions.
But it's a 3 hours into 2 because we've got a 2-hour drive. The last half hour of the show is building up to the football. We've got 4 games on the TalkSport network tonight. Let me briefly tell you, you will need to download the app. I mean, it's worth it anyway, but download the app because 2 of the games tonight from 6 are only available on the TalkSport app. Southampton, West Ham and Burnley, Sheffield United. West Brom Leeds at 6 is a TalkSport 2 game, and Brighton Arsenal is here on TalkSport. If you download the app, not only do you get those games that are on the app, only available on the app, but you can listen to TalkSport and swipe left for TalkSport 2 as well. At 8 o'clock, Man United Wolves live on TalkSport, and at 8 o'clock on TalkSport 2 is a championship game, Stoke Forest. So it's all football.
Yeah, I have to. You know what, Aid? I've missed you, mate. I love working with you. You're so professional. People don't see that, do they? They always just see the clickbait you want to put out there, and all them crazy stats and these stupid things about Arsenal. But when you actually sit there and watch what you write down and goes into one show, it's actually unbelievable.
Well, you don't know this, but I've got a little quiz going on during this. I mean, how are we going to fit all this into 2 hours? I don't know. But here we go. This is the first question for you. And this is on football in 2020, okay? You don't know anything about this, do you? No. You know, people will think, they've given him the answers. No, we haven't at all. Here we go with the first one. It's for everybody. You can join in if you like at TalkSport Drive on Twitter. There are no prizes whatsoever. So get that out of your head. Project Restart in June. Okay, when the first game after a 100-day absence in the Premier League was Villa 0, Sheffield United 0. Blade should have been awarded a goal when the ball crossed the line, but the ref's watch didn't go off.
Yeah.
Which Sheffield United midfielder scored that ghost goal? Anybody know? At TalkSport Drive on Twitter. You can all see it, can't you? You can all see Michael Oliver pointing to his watch. You don't know who scored it, though, do you?
No.
You don't know. Just have a little thing. We'll get on to that shortly. Mourinho or Bielsa? Simple question. What's your answer?
For me, Mourinho.
And based on what? You don't like football?
No. I think if you're talking about, what are we talking about? Spurs manager.
Who would you rather have in charge of your team? Whoever your team is. Spurs is yours, Posh is mine. I love watching Bielsa's Leeds. So for me, I'd rather be watching his teams. That's all.
Yeah, but listen, Aid, you've got to look at it from perspective of where Spurs are right now. If we're talking about Spurs wanting to play free-flowing, attacking football and potentially not win a trophy for another 10 years, go with Bielsa because he's going to be more easy on the eye. You're going to enjoy going to watch Spurs and it'll be fun. But for me at the moment, as a Spurs fan, Jose Mourinho is the man to take the club forward because he knows how to get trophies. He's a proven winner. He wins trophies and he gets it done. Yes, it's not pretty. And yes, it's not been great over the last few weeks. But we are in the hunt for trophies this season. So if you're talking about a manager I'd want right now, and they were both available, I would say Mourinho, because Spurs need a trophy and we need one quick. And the man to get that is Jose Mourinho.
How confident are you, even though Jose has got a track record of winning trophies, and somebody tweeted me saying, Jose, because he's the one that's won a title, but that was a long time ago. Now, sure, he won trophies at Manchester United, but just say this season, right? He's obviously got his eye on the Carabao Cup.
The Championship Cup.
But Man City is still in that, and it's basically basically they part own that trophy.
Yeah.
They've got one hand on it already. So how confident can any Spurs fan be, whether it's Mourinho or anyone else in charge, that they really can get the better of a Man City or say an Arsenal in the
Cup? They already have this season. They already have, you know, so it's not like it can't be done. Mourinho knows how to get results in the big games, in the big moments. Spurs have been good this season. They were the last few weeks. We've dropped away. I think the schedule's caught up with Spurs a bit. Players are looking a bit tired. We're conceding too many set pieces. But if you're talking about a manager who knows how to get results in the business end of the season, it's Jose Mourinho. We're in a semi-final in the Carabao Cup against Brentford, so you'd have to say we'd go through to the final. It's a tough game, don't get me wrong, but we're at home. It's a Championship club.
When did Spurs earn the right to be arrogant? When was that?
Well, when we got Jose Mourinho as manager.
But Spurs' recent history, yes, the Man City result was fantastic, but more recently, late goals, losing the lead, conceding at set pieces. And I read a piece this morning talking about how he's got this fear thing going. He rules by fear at Spurs, and that only works if you're winning games. So he's kind of picked on Dele Alli almost to show the others, well, this is what's going to happen if you don't toe my line.
Do you think that's really what's happened, Dave? Do you think? I have to agree with you, because I don't like the treatment of Dele Alli. I don't like the way he's been treated. I don't like the way he's singled him out in his interviews. But surely as a manager who seems like a really nice bloke, when you watch him and you see his interviews and you think, he's a nice bloke, is he really going to almost bully someone to go and use him as a scapegoat to show the rest of the team that if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to treat you like Dele Alli? I don't think he's that type of man.
But isn't that the message? Not doing it in a nasty way. He's not being a bully with it, but the very act of calling him out because he gave the ball away against Stoke. Well, he didn't do that when Son gave the ball away on the edge of his own box against Wolves, did he?
But Son's produced. Son has been a massive part of everything that Spurs do. So when a player's producing on the pitch, then you kind of get a little bit more leeway from the manager if you do give the ball away. A bit like Bruno Fernandes at Man United, gives the ball away all the time, but produces and does things. The problem that Dele Alli's got, he's low on confidence, he's not playing, so when he's coming into the team and he's getting a chance, he's basically on trial, and that's the worst feeling as a footballer, to basically come in and have 60 minutes, because that's all he's getting. He's getting 60 minutes every 1-2 weeks to show what he can do. And I feel like and then if he's not like Gascoigne, then it's all, oh no, he's not for us. Dele Alli's not really doing it, and he can't get, and he's not part of it. He had his trainers on the other day. He was on the bench. And I'm just thinking, he has been a massive part of Spurs. He's still a fantastic player. He's still got a lot to offer. I don't like the way he's been treated by Mourinho, but I don't think Mourinho's doing it to show the other players, this is how you've got to do things, otherwise I'll treat you like him.
Well, something's going on there, and I'm not quite sure all the players are buying into it, and maybe it erodes as time goes on. We'll see how it works, because Spurs might turn out to have the best season they've had in years. But with Leeds, what you get in a League One or Championship players who are moulded together into a team, playing way above what anybody thought they were capable of, and they all buy into it. And he's making players so much better. And he seems to me to be a players manager, rather than Mourinho being all about himself.
Is he about himself? I think he's brought a team like Spurs together and has brainwashed them into a mentality of, this philosophy is going to get us results. It hasn't over the last few games, and it's been poor. But over the course of the season so far, you'd say you're 6th in the league?
5th, I think.
5th or 6th in the league. Semi-final of the Carabao Cup, were top. And people were talking about Spurs winning a title. So you'd have to say it's been so far a bit of a success story. Bielsa, could you imagine Bielsa in charge of Spurs and playing the way that they play at Spurs with our back four? You'd be losing game 4-5-0.
Have you seen Leeds back four?
Yeah, I know, but it's...
You've got Ayling and Cooper at centre half.
Of course, they got beat 6-2 by Manchester United the other day. That's not acceptable at Spurs. It's not acceptable to go and get beat 4-5-0. At Leeds, it is. It's acceptable to do it because it's their first season in the Premier League. If you're getting beat by Manchester United 6-2, you're getting the sack. This is Spurs.
Okay, but with better players, you'd expect Bielsa to play better football and get better results. So what he's doing with Leeds...
Not necessarily better results. Not necessarily better results.
Maybe not, and that's part of the debate, because the Leeds football, everybody's praising it. The results, you're right, have not always been fantastic. And then you get the Mourinho style of management and the style of play, and the two are contrasting. It promises to be a great game on Saturday, live on TalkSport. It's the 12:30 kickoff. But who would you rather have in charge of your team? 08717 22 33 44.
Drive on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Tools and more for any task, with over 20,000 top trade quality products available.
Saw my neighbour's lad the other day, and he said,
"Hey, I passed my test."